Has voted to change the recommendation for the hepatitis B vaccine in infants. The move ending a long-standing recommendation that all U.S. babies get that vaccine on the day they are born. We have team coverage here at noon.
CBS News special report. A CDC vaccine advisory panel has voted 8-2 to recommend that babies not get their first hepatitis B shot until they're 2 months old, unless the mother is tested positive for hepatitis B. That advisory committee now includes several vaccine skeptics appointed by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
You have really no immunity to much of anything except for what you might have gotten from your mother during pregnancy. And so that is a highly vulnerable period of time if that child is exposed to other caregivers in the household who are carriers of hepatitis B.
The American Academy of Pediatrics opposes the change, saying decades of research has confirmed the vaccine's safety and effectiveness. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
And that panel also voted today to recommend parents consider blood tests for children to assess immunity to hepatitis B before determining if they need additional vaccine doses. Now, these recommendations have to be accepted by the CDC director, which usually happens. It's going to be wet and cold this afternoon, not getting out of the 40s. And will the weekend be a washout? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. A suspect's in custody this noon after a double homicide at a home in Coweta County.
Coweta County deputies are called out to a home on the 100 block of Little Road in Sharpsburg after a 911 call about an unknown problem. When they arrive, they find 2 victims dead. A third person still inside the home is taken into custody without incident. Investigators are working to determine a motive in the case. The case remains active and ongoing.
And WSB Cheryl Castro reports the Coweta County Sheriff's Office says it plans to release more information later today. Check back for updates. Atlanta police investigating a shooting that appears to be the result of an attempted break-in at a home on Peyton Place in Southwest Atlanta. Officers say they arrived and found a man in critical condition with a gunshot wound. He was taken to Grady. Another man at the scene informed officers that his home had been the target of previous break-ins. Police recovered 2 handguns from that individual, and they say that a crowbar was also found inside the front door of that home. Police still investigating the incident and have not announced any charges as of yet. It is lunch hour. What are you having for lunch? Well, the American College of Cardiology wants nutrition labels on the front of food packages. Dr. Kim Williams says if it's the first thing you see, then you will likely make healthier, more informed decisions on what you put in your mouth.
Take those little numbers on the back, put them on the front, and make sure that we're pointing out the good and the bad.
Now, the American College of Cardiology is pushing for a standardized labeling system on the front that highlights key nutrients and things that you should limit, like sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. This is new here at noon. As the open enrollment period for health insurance continues, lawmakers on Capitol Hill today are pushing for action on key subsidies aimed at keeping costs down.
With Affordable Care Act subsidies expiring, analysts warn health insurance premiums will continue to skyrocket for millions of Georgians. That's unacceptable, says U.S. Senator John Ossoff.
We shouldn't be in this position at all to begin with.
Ossoff says he intends to support a Democratic effort in the Senate to force a vote on a proposal to extend the subsidies next week.
This should not be a partisan issue.
So far, House and Senate Republicans haven't been able to reach an agreement to extend the tax credits, which were at the center of the recent government shutdown fight. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
It may be a small part, but it's causing some big problems for a Ford SUV.
It's a cover on a hinge on the rear liftgate of Ford Escapes, particularly 2020 to 2022 and 2025 models. They're being recalled because that cover can fly off while driving. Nobody's been hurt, but there have been more than 1,800 warranty claims.
And Jeff Gilbert says owners will get recall notices early next year. A new LendingTree study today shows Atlanta is among the top 10 cities when it comes to increases in rent. Atlanta ranking 7th overall, rent averaging about $1,660 a month. That's up about $620 since 2021. In fact, the 50 largest cities in the U.S. Showing an increase. The rent for a one-bedroom apartment has soared up more than 40% in the last 5 years. New York seeing the biggest increases in rent, followed by San Diego and then Miami. And in case you haven't heard, Netflix is buying Warner Brothers Discovery in a cash and stock deal worth nearly $83 billion. It's the largest entertainment industry deal since Disney bought 20th Century Fox for $71 billion back in 2019. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow's in positive territory, so is the S&P and NASDAQ. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
A little slow on the misty rain through Midtown Sabrina, 7585 southbound 17th Street, just down to North Avenue. Northbound crash off to the right on 7585 north up around Peachtree Pine Street. And a crash just cleared in Gwinnett County, Duluth to be specific, on Pleasant Hill Road at Old Norcross Road. All lanes have reopened there. Looks like some traffic light issues in Roswell. Holcomb Bridge Road at Martin Landing Drive. Treat that as a four-way stop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast is sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Cloudy skies with areas of rain showers and some light drizzle for the rest of today. Staying cold with a high of 45. The precipitation comes to an end late tonight. Temperatures will stay in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, trending drier with a high near 50. Sunshine on Sunday, morning lows in the 30s, daytime high 52. Rain showers return on Monday, but drying out on Tuesday with highs in the low 50s.
It's 47 degrees right now in Powder Springs and Chamblee. Alpharetta, you have 46 degrees. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He was too. Let's begin there. You all thought he was white. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number 877-973-7425. Y'all thought Brian Coles was white too. In fact, yesterday on this program, I said it looked like it was some white guy. I said before a picture was even released. This is. If you haven't heard what I'm talking about, CNN yesterday became the first network to release the picture of Brian Coles. CNN, yesterday afternoon, they got the first picture of Brian Coles. This is Jake Tapper on CNN.
Welcome to the lead. I'm Jake Tapper. After nearly 5 years of investigation, the FBI finally announced that they had arrested a suspect accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosions.
That's Jake Tapper, 30-year-old. You thought he was white too, and then they reveal the picture, and he's a black guy. You're like, what? Now, listen, everybody's having their fun with Jake, who I know Jake. We have a good relationship. In fact, we were just texting about this before the show started, and he said, thank you for defending me. I said, dude, I said he was a white guy on my radio show yesterday before he had the picture. You didn't see this coming, did you? We got Woodbury, Virginia, which is suburban Virginia, self-described anarchist named Brian. Y'all, when you have Brian, the self-described anarchist from Woodbury, Virginia, the suburbs of D.C., you've got white guy written all over it. Of course, you all thought he was white too. And he planted pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC. What black guy gets online and learns how to make pipe bombs? That's what the white militias do. My goodness gracious. Give Jake Tapper, cut him some slack. I did it before Jake did it, and every single one of you heard Brian Coles from Woodbury, Virginia, planted pipe bombs. He's a self-described anarchist. And your only question was, does he have long, shaggy hair, or is he clean-cut white militia? This reminds me, y'all remember the SNL skit with Shane Gillis?
Yeah. And welcome back. You're watching WANU Midday News.
In just a bit, we'll have more on that incoming winter snowstorm.
Get ready to bundle up, folks. But first, the latest on what's happening over in Westlake.
Oh, so sad. Community members remain rattled after yet another gang-related drive-by shooting that took place in the 4,000 block of Reisterstown Road late last night. The shooting is believed to be in connection to last week's string of violence in the same area.
After questioning witnesses and reviewing nearby surveillance footage, police have identified the suspects and located the 2018 Dodge Charger used in last night's crime. The suspects are believed to be four white...
Yes! I know that's right.
I'm sorry, what's going on?
Oh, Nothing.
Yeah, just relieved that the police have white identified the suspects.
Exactly. Very white.
Okay, crime is crime, and we're all relieved.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, it's shaping up to be quite a busy week for local law enforcement as police deliver on their promise to crack down on the increasing drug traffic.
Uh-oh.
Not drugs.
A raid early this morning uncovered a major meth ring.
Okay, we good.
That's y'all for sure.
In a quiet suburban neighborhood.
Now, you know.
Know what?
That they ain't one of us, okay?
Well, how do you know that?
Meth, quiet. Come on now.
All right, let's see the picture.
Why are you entertaining this stupid game?
Because we're down 2-0, Suzanne. You want to lose?
It goes on from there. Y'all thought the same thing. White guy anarchist from suburban Virginia. You thought it. You know you did. Jake Tapper's getting dragged for saying what you thought. And all I can say is I said it before him because it's Brian Coles. What, I mean, the only whiter name than Brian Coles is like Eric Erickson or John Smith. I mean, I'm so white I can't put socks on. They disappear. Brian Coles, he's got, I can't, maybe he took some of those, what was the movie about the guy who ingested the tanning pills and turned himself, people thought he was black because he was super tan. Maybe that's what Brian Coles did. What's remarkable here is that everybody made this calculation. Jake and I just happen to be the sort of people who announced it. I mean, I didn't see the guy's picture. I didn't really need to see the guy's picture. Come on. None of you did either. You formed the picture in your head. And it's what every American does. But we have been trained by progressives that somehow this is awful stereotyping. Except let's be real here. Had Jake Tapper said he was black, and it turned out to be a white guy, we'd be questioning whether or not he'd have his job at the end of the day. But because he's a black guy, but said he was white, everybody's fine. In other words, you racism, you jumped to racism, you presumed it was a black guy. I mean, if his name was Tariq or something, people would probably not presume he was a white guy. If his name was Tariq, you would be saying, is he Islamic? Is he black? Well, he's not white. But with Brian Coles, self-described anarchist, I mean, and now here's the thing. This is why this is all actually good news. I mean, it's we call it the bomber, call it the alleged bomber. But isn't it kind of great that we can have a guy named Brian Coles who's an anarchist who believed that the 2020 election was stolen, and it's not a white guy from like South Georgia, it's a black guy from suburbia. We've kind of made racial progress as a country, and we should look at the story as racial progress. According to the FBI sources today, Brian Coles believed that the election in 2020 was stolen, and he's an anarchist and decided he wanted to seed divisions. Now, let's be honest, y'all. We saw the pictures from January 6th, and we saw the people storming the barricades to get into the Capitol. There were not a lot of black people in the crowds. There were not. That was, I mean, short of a blizzard, that's one of the most lily white things you've ever seen in Washington, D.C. And yeah, it turns out we had the anarchist black dude covered up, bundled up in COVID mask gear and jeans, planting pipe bombs. That's a sign of racial progress, if you will. I mean, seriously, I don't mean to make light of the bomber, but the fact that we could look at this and say, oh yeah, white guy, anarchist, suburbia, and actually it's not. We are moving well beyond the defined stereotypes of race in America. And the fact that we can laugh about it, and you should be laughing about it, and if you can't laugh about it, you're part of the problem, is also part of the progress we have in this country. And also, we got a black anarchist who wanted to take action because he thought Donald Trump had the election stolen from him. See, the Republican coalition is broadening. This is real progress in the country. And this progress comes at a time we have these growing anti-Semitic voices on the left and the right, and you have the white nationalist voices rising on the right. I have seen a lot of people, including Jason Howerton, the pastor. He's such a good guy. And he made this point the other day, and I've seen other people echo his point, that for the last number of years, the left has posited this idea that you are in a class and race, and you individually don't matter. Your class and your race matter. And white people are oppressors and they're bad and they need to be silenced. And along come the Nick Fuenteses of the world and others who are like, no, you people are the bad ones, and we're going to stand up and defend whiteness and white people. And you suddenly have the particularly younger white voices rising to defend the concept of whiteness and making a big thing about being white, and we need this white ethnic state. And they are a reaction to what has been the left's growing voice for the last 50 years about racial divisions in this country and how non-white people are oppressed and white people are bad. When you have a group of progressives who have taken over the academy, who have taken over cultural institutions, who have taken over the media, who have taken over every major cultural institution in the country, and they divide the country up by race, and they say it's white people and all white people are bad, all cops are bad, all white people are problems, well, you're going to provoke a reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the Groypers, the neo-Nazis, the rise of the white nationalist voices that you're seeing on the right now are in reaction to the people on the left who've been pushing the 1619 Project and all these other things. And along come Brian Coles, and he defies the racial stereotypes. We should also commend the FBI for their effort on this. The FBI was able to identify this guy. They had no new information. They had no new sources. They just followed the chain of evidence. It is remarkable that the Christopher Wray-led FBI under Joe Biden could not do this. And what is deeply remarkable is there is a growing effort to be dismissive of every aspect of the FBI because Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are in charge now, and it was the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino-led FBI that was able to track this guy down. The Joe Biden Secret Service couldn't identify whose cocaine it was in the White House. Maybe we should let Dan Bongino try to find that person. I bet it's someone Joe Biden pardoned on his way out the door. We are such a more complicated country than race. And yet voices on the left have for a very long time tried to simplify this country into racial terms, and voices on the right have risen to respond. And all I can tell you is you shouldn't get caught up in the madness. There are a lot of idiots out there. You don't have to be one. It's the same reason why, the left now, they want to go after white police officers. They want to go after white people, and yet they're super defensive of the Somali community. You can't say it's all the community. It's just a few bad apples. Well, I would agree with you, except your argument has been premised on racial classes. And the Somalis in Minnesota, well, you've got a lot of them. You've got hundreds of them who have participated in the scheme. And so, therefore, based on your own prior logic, we have to indict the whole community unless you're willing to give up their logic. They're not willing to give up the logic, but they're also willing to fight you on this issue. And I see it on the right now with Muslims, that Muslim Islam is incompatible with the United States, and all terrorists are of Islam and the anti-Semites, and then you have the anti-Semitism festering on the right. You either judge individuals in this country as individuals or you judge them by classes and groups. And time again, you see these stories about people like Brian Coles, and you have to remember there are individuals out there. They defy the racial stereotypes. They defy the groupings. They defy everything. They defy the expectations. I assure you no one was looking for a black anarchist who thought the election was stolen from Donald Trump. And yet that's who they found in the investigation. And his defying the norms, however bad it was that he was radicalized online and attempted to plant pipe bombs to kill people, his radicalizing online was bad, but the defiance of a racial stereotype is a sign of progress in this country. 75 years ago, my great-grandparents' generation regularly used the N-word. My grandparents' generation, it was coloreds. My parents' generation, blacks. My generation, neighbor. We have made great progress in this country. We have made great racial progress in this country. And there are a lot of grifters and charlatans on both sides who make a lot of money by trying to continue to sow racial divisions in this country. We should be able to laugh that Jake Tapper got the exclusive first photo of Brian Coles. He was a black man, and Jake Tapper referred to him as a white man. Jake Tapper can laugh about it. We can laugh about it. We should laugh about it. And we should also think that, we all thought he was too. Because we all form stereotypes in our heads. Stereotypes are cheat codes in navigating life. And one of the great cheat codes in life has been racial stereotypes in this country, and it's a sign of progress that those stereotypes are breaking down. When suburban white guy, self-described anarchist Brian Coles actually turns out to be a black guy from Virginia who thought the election was stolen. Y'all didn't see that coming. Neither did Jake Tapper. Neither did me. We can laugh about it and say, you know what? It's actually a sign of racial progress in the country.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Watching a few brake lights on 285 westbound, the outer loop out of Sandy Springs into Cobb, leaving Riverside Drive over 2 I-75, just volume there. Still got the traffic light issues in Roswell, Holcomb Bridge Road at Martin's Landing Drive. Treat that as a four-way stop, a little slow in both directions. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster's Cyber Week sale is here. Save up to 50% now on all custom blinds, guaranteed to fit and priced lower than big box stores. Hurry, the sale ends soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Clark Howard here, and each year we set a goal to provide gifts for every child in foster care across the state of Georgia, and we can't do it without you. Join us live this Sunday, December 7th, and donate from noon to 3 p.m. in Roswell at the Walmart on Mansell Road for our 35th annual Clark's Christmas Kids. Help make Georgia foster kids' Christmas wishes come true. For more information about how you can donate and for Walmart store locations, visit WSBradio.com.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know him. That's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks. Josh, tell me something you've done recently to help you love your home.
Our whole house water filtration system. Before we got our whole house filter, our water kind of tasted like chlorine, kind of had an odd smell to it. Ever since we put the whole house filter in, now our water smells perfect, it tastes great, and it cleans every single faucet in our house. So at our toilet, at our sink, at our shower, we have clean water.
That's the kind of thing that's good for the whole family.
Absolutely. So this is our kids, myself, washing water, our cleaning water, our cooking water, and of course, even the dog gets clean water now. It took less than a day for the team to install the 2 new filters for the house, and now every single faucet my family uses has filtered water.
Josh, thank you. I believe a water filtration system from TE will help a lot of our listeners love their home more.
TE Certified, we love your home.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Becker store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Is your entire home winter ready? Every entry point? Cold air is invading your home through your windows, entry doors, and your biggest entry point, your garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Keep that cold air out of your home and save on your heating bills with energy-efficient windows, entry doors, and garage doors from All Four Seasons. We're proud to be celebrating a quarter-century of quality work and customer care. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Breaking news. This just hit the wires. Yeah, sorry, Kobe. For some reason, my mic was muted. The National Labor Relations Board and the Merit Systems Protection Board are multi-member agencies with wide-ranging statutory responsibilities and with members protected by statute from presidential removal without cause. This has just hit the wires from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, a 2-1 decision. The District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the D.C. Circuit, that's the mini Supreme Court, essentially, is how people think of it. They have ruled that the President of the United States is allowed to fire members of the National Labor Relations Board and the Merit Systems Protection Board for any reason he sees, because they wield so much executive power. They are to be a part of the executive branch. This is a very, very big decision that has just hit the wires. It is a 2-1 decision, 2 Trump appointees and a Biden appointee. The Trump appointees have ruled in favor of Donald Trump's ability to fire the members of the NLRB and the MSPB, and that's going to go to the Supreme Court, and I suspect they will side with the decision, ruling that they are exercise so much executive power, they must be considered part of the executive branch. Big breaking news happening right now. Really big decision out of D.C. Heads are melting down. By the way, I said Woodbury, Virginia. It's Woodbridge, Virginia, where Brian Coles is. Woodbridge, not Woodbury. Thanks for those who corrected me on that. Eden Pure, the Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them. They fit in most stockings. That's how small they are. You can hold them in your hands. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm. It's an air purifier. You get 3 of them for less than $200. You save $200. You can plug it up with the USB cord, and I've done them, fired it off of my computer before. You can plug them into the wall. Plug them in a car if it's got a USB outlet. Get rid of smoke odors, litter box odors, pet odors, dirty diaper odors, musty odors, kitchen odors, fish odors, you name it. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Get 3 of them for less than $200. Save $200. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. They not only get rid of dust and pollen, they get rid of 99% of bacteria and viruses. They eliminate all odors. They generate ozone, which kind of operates as odor bleach. Ozone is O3 oxygen with an extra atom of oxygen. It's kind of an unstable atom, and it touches ionized particles of odor and wipes them out, and it just works. It eliminates odors. Any odor, can't stand up to it. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Big changes when it comes to one childhood vaccine.
CBS News special report.
8 votes yes and 3 votes no. The motion passes.
A CDC advisory panel has voted to recommend babies get their first hepatitis V vaccination at 2 months of age rather than right after birth. Committee Vice Chairman Dr. Robert Malone voted for the change.
The policies that the American public have experienced during COVID has severely damaged their confidence in public health and in the vaccine enterprise. And I think we have to recognize that.
Dr. Cody Meisner voted no.
I will just say we have heard do no harm is a moral imperative. We are doing harm.
Many medical groups oppose the change. The American Academy of Pediatrics says it'll leave children at risk of an infection that can cause lifelong illness. Since the 1991 recommendation to give the hepatitis B shot at birth, infections among infants and children have dropped 99%. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
U.S. Senator John Ossoff saying today he's going to support an effort from his fellow Democrats to force a vote next week on a plan to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies.
The affordability of health insurance should not be a Republican versus Democratic issue.
Analysts say that if the subsidies expire, health care costs will continue to spike for millions of Georgians. Congressional Republicans have yet to unveil their plan to address the issue, which was at the center of the recent government shutdown. A new data today released by the National Retail Federation finds Small Business Saturday took in nearly 63 million Americans shopping in stores. 2.6 increase that was from the year 2024. It's projected that spending will surpass $1 trillion for the first time ever this Christmas season. And consumer sentiment is improving slightly. The University of Michigan's early reading for December edged up 2 points from last month. Consumers see modest improvements from November, although many say that the persistently high prices that they're facing are among their major concerns. Year-ahead inflation expectations dipped to their lowest reading since January. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 57 at 47,908. NASDAQ also in positive territory, and so is the S&P. It's 12:32.
Red diamonds cost up to $5 million per gram, and yet they are not nearly as valuable as hope. You'll agree with me if you've ever felt deeply hopeless. You know, that state of soul when life itself seems pointless with no prospects of ever getting better. I want you to know there is hope, real hope, and his name is Jesus. He offers full forgiveness, eternal life, heaven as your home, and purpose in every heartbeat. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
Fall is here, and with it comes cool air and heavy rains. All that moisture doesn't just smell bad, it affects the air your family breathes and even your home's foundation. Hi, I'm Jeremy, owner of American Crawl Space Solutions, and we believe in a needs-based approach, recommending only what your crawl space truly needs. No high-pressure sales tactics and no price increase just because you don't commit today. American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value in crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions, foundations too.
Hey folks, it's Scott Slade with another great tip from my friends at Myland, Atlanta's local experts for home loans. So many people have credit card balances they don't pay off every month, which makes holidays more stressful than they could be or should be. The guys at Myland say a great product to use to reduce the amount you pay is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This allows you to use the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit card debt without touching your first mortgage. HELOCs are typically easier and faster to close than a full mortgage, so you can expect to get cash much faster. Whether you want to pay off debts or handle large expenses, HELOCs can be a great tool to use. To find out if one is right for you, call Myland at 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online at myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. And please tell them I sent you. NMLS and Georgia Residential Mortgage License C148769, located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
The Georgia Spa Company just did something you don't want to miss. They've extended their Black Friday sale through Sunday. That means the biggest savings of the year, well, they're still happening. If you've been waiting to upgrade your health, your recovery, your downtime, your relaxation, now's your chance. hot tubs to melt the stress away, swim spas for fitness without the gym, saunas and cold plunges to help you feel better, sleep better, live better. Don't let the extended Black Friday sale at Georgia Spa Company slip past you. Go to georgiaspacompany.com to find the closest location.
Alex Williams has a look at the roads.
Just watched them finish up some pothole repair in Kennesaw. It was in the left lane. All lanes now open. 75 southbound at Barrett Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Scattered rain showers and drizzly for today, staying cold with a high of 45. Some areas of drizzle for tonight, a low settling to the low 40s.
46 degrees in Beaufort. Roswell has 47. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. It is an open line Friday. I am very happy to have you. I have to do something right now that I do every year at this time before I do anything else. I don't know when I started this tradition, but it has become tradition. And were I not to do it, I would get a lot of hate mail. So I will keep with tradition. The first Friday of December every year. If you're like me, you grew up learning that Christmas is on December 25th to co-opt Saturnalia, the Roman Empire's midwinter festival. Or it could be Sol Invictus, the Feast of the Unconquered Sun. The theory went that Christians could get the heathen to convert by co-opting the pagan holidays. There's just one problem. It sounds really convincing, but it's not true. So why is Christmas on December 25th every year? The theories became popular once comparative religion became trendy in the 18th century. You actually didn't hear these arguments before the 18th century. A lot of Germans who were headed into atheism started doing comparative religions and essentially arguing all religions are the same, and they started making these conversations. But you go back to the earliest Christian church, and you find that birthdays were not celebrated by the early Christians. Actually, the Emperor Aurelian was a big proponent of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. And there's a lot of evidence that as the Roman emperors had failed to stamp out Christianity in the early Roman Empire, that the Roman emperor decided to take Sol Invictus and place it on December 25th, where Christians were increasingly recognizing Christ's birth. Ironically, on the time frame of when Aurelius lived, that was around the time frame that Christians had already embraced the idea that Christ was born on December 25th. Now, what you have to understand is that early Christians did not celebrate births or birth dates. They believed it to be pagan to celebrate birthdays. That's what the Romans did. In Egypt, less than 300 years after Christ's death, Christians started celebrating his birth in the spring. The earliest references to Christmas come from about 200 AD, at a time Christians were not incorporating other religions and religious traditions into their own. In fact, Christians at the time were trying very hard to blend in as citizens while avoiding participating in pagan festivals. Christians in the Roman Empire were actually being murdered by the Romans for being atheists. How were they atheists? The Romans believed that you could not be a god if you were alive. That's why the Roman emperors got deified after death. Here come these Christians saying they worship a God who is alive. To the Roman thinking of the day, you can't worship a living God. All gods are dead. And so if a Christian says their God is alive, they're not really worshiping God. Therefore, they're atheists. Now, by 300 AD, Christians were celebrating Christ's birth on December 25th. Christians by then had decided it was okay to celebrate birthdays. Within 100 years, Christmas was actually on the calendar record. Christians looked to December because the early church wasn't actually interested in when Christ was born. They were interested in when he died. His death and resurrection are what matter. His birth was incidental. Virgin birth, yes, but incidental. They were interested in when he died. So around 200 AD, Tertullian of Carthage reported the calculation that the 14th of Nisan in the year Christ died was equivalent to March 25th in the Roman calendar. That's Andrew McGowan of the Biblical Archaeological Society. That was the date of the crucifixion, they decided, was March 25th. So fast forward 9 months, where do you land? December 25th. December 25th. So you have to follow along with me. This is a very simple point. It sounds more complicated than it is. Early church Christians, many of whom converted from Judaism, held to a very common belief at that time that the prophets were conceived on the same date they died. So, if your death was on March 25th, the date of your conception would have been March 25th. That was a well-founded belief at the time. If you were a prophet, not everybody, just prophets, if you were a prophet and you died on March 25th, then that would have been the date of your conception. And they knew at the time the gestation period of a human being was 9 months. So if you died on March 25th, that would have been the date of your conception. Count forward. Where do you land? December 25th. Now, separately from all of this, Luke 1 tells us that Zacharias, John the Baptist's father, was in the priestly division of Abijah. Based on the calculation and the division of the priests in the temple of 70 AD when the temple fell, a lot of early Christian historians believe Zacharias would have been in the temple in late September or early October. Later historians say it was June, but at the time we know from the written documents, a lot of them assumed it was late September, early October. Then the Gospel of Luke tells us that when Zacharias left the temple, his wife conceived, and then in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. That's from Luke 1. The early church concluded that 6 months after Zacharias left the temple would have been towards the end of March. You already had Tertullian out there saying Christ's crucifixion date would have been March 25th. You had this belief that the date of death was also the date of conception. Here comes another part of the Christian church saying that 6 months after Zacharias left the temple would have been the end of March. Lo and behold, March 25th was the widely considered date of Christ's crucifixion in the early church. And if that was the case, his birth would have been December 25th. That is why you have Christmas on December 25th. Now, you need to understand this. It's important. A lot of scholars reject setting Christ's birth to Zacharias' temple service because of problems related to when he was really there. Obviously, none of us believe these days that the date of a prophet's death is also the date of their conception. So who knows what day he was born? What matters is that he was born. But we're headed into the Christmas season now. Christmas decorations are up everywhere. Some of them have been up since the day after Halloween. A lot of people want to know why December 25th. And secular society has long maintained it was because of the Feast of Saturnalia, which we actually know the Feast of Saturnalia never in the Roman period fell on December 25th. And then we know Emperor Aurelian set the date of the Sol Invictus feast on December 25th, but the growing body of archaeological evidence is that he did that to try to tell Christians, no, look, we're already worshiping this guy. It's not Jesus, it's the unconquered Son who is nameless. And they overlap. So, all I'm saying is that we don't actually know when Jesus of Nazareth was born. But as we head into the Christmas season, you hear people scoffing at Christians as secular media and society does and says, well, you know, those early Christians, they were just trying to co-opt Roman holidays for their own. That's not actually true. At the time, Christians were doing everything possible to avoid co-opting other religions' holidays, and they had set Jesus' birthday to December 25th of their own accord. Now you know, and you're smarter because of it. And I kid you not, had I not, in the third segment of the first hour of this radio program, done that, the amount of hate mail I would get before 1 o'clock. People are like, Erickson, it's tradition. Been doing this since like 2011. So now that you know all of that, we can move on to other things. You needed to know your wild card day. See, you never know what I'm going to talk about. Wild card. We got to move on to other stuff. Before I do, let me get to Ed calling from Oklahoma. Ed, welcome to the show.
Harry, good to talk to you. Thanks for taking
You
my
too.
call. A couple of days ago, you were talking about AI and you really got into it. It was interesting, very interesting. And you said that AI tends to, the algorithm take what eventually learn about you and give you answers you want or what you'd like to hear or something like that. And
yes,
I was watching reels on Facebook last night and came across one, this Christian commentator. He did a video, showed a video of this lady who pushes Islam, and she set up ChatGPT to answer some questions. And she was very specific about the way she told it to answer them very objectively, one-word answers. And she asked these questions in a certain way, and every one of them led you to believe that Islam was the true religion.
Mm-hmm.
Then this Christian commentator took the very same words, set it up exactly the same, asked the same questions perfectly, and it led you down the Christian path. So that goes to what you were saying about ChatGPT is going to ask, or the AI algorithms are going to answer your questions according a lot about what you want. I thought it was so interesting. I saw that just a day or so after you had that commentary of your own.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you called in with that, Ed, because I know the video you're talking about, and I don't think people appreciate that that's one of the underlying flaws in the algorithms. And because, I mean, we're all kind of algorithmically led. You see reels on Instagram and Facebook and the like based on what you and your family are sharing off the same IP addresses. I increasingly, Ed, have this situation. So I'm in a group chat with a couple of buddies of mine. We would all lose our jobs if people saw this group chat. It's one of those great group chats where we find very funny reels that would probably offend half the country, but they're all very funny. And increasingly, we are finding that we're all seeing the same ones. We don't even share them anymore because we know that, oh, well, our algorithms are so aligned now. This is all what we're going to find. And it's the same way with the ChatGPT and Perplexity and all of the others, is that when you build a relationship with this AI, it's going to tell you what you want to hear, not what is true. A buddy of mine, Caleb, who is on his way to Dubai right now but listening, disagrees with me on the fallout of AI. And I think I have probably overstated my case to a degree about how it's not going to be as big a deal. I think it's going to be big long term, just as the internet has been. But I do think it's adaptable. A listener reached out to me yesterday and actually said that her daughter works for a major Fortune 100 company. And the marketing department, of which this girl is a part, they're all losing their jobs because the company has decided AI can do the marketing jobs better than the people. Now, one, I disagree with this. And I got to tell you, I actually think one of the hallmarks of AI over time, my buddy Neil Stevens on Twitter pointed this out, is going to be one of the standout things of AI over time is going to be connected to and connotate cheap garbage. AI, I want you to understand this. You gotta understand this more than anything else. Is AI going to be disruptive? Yes. Are people going to lose their jobs because of AI? Yes. I think it's probably overstated the degree of the damage it's going to do and the degree to job losses it's going to do. I think AI is increasingly going to be connected to cheap garbage because at the end of the day, artificial intelligence doesn't have a soul. Now, I have to make a point here some of you are going to say is theological. It's not really, but it's going to sound very theological. But just bear with me on this one. Where does beauty come from? Where does beauty come from? When you walk into a cathedral, in fact, I see a number of young men are converting to Catholicism and the Orthodox religion, Greek Orthodox, as they walk into these cathedrals and they're overwhelmed by the beauty. Beauty's not really as subjective as we think. We all have an innate sense of a beauty that overwhelms us, do we not? Where's that beauty come from? Well, We're all made in the image and likeness of God. When you stand out at the Grand Canyon and you're overwhelmed by it, God's creation, it comes innately from being the spark of the divine within us, which AI doesn't have. And so AI is not going to be able to cater to that spark of beauty. You know, we, as we've moved further and further away from the divine, will tape a banana to the wall and say that's art. That's AI. AI is the banana taped to the wall claiming it's somehow beautiful art. And so I think AI is going to be disruptive in some cases. We're going to adapt in many cases. It's going to be very much like the internet. There is a bubble. It's going to pop. Some people will lose their jobs. They will find new jobs. Companies are not getting a rate of return on investment, and they're going to move in other directions. But ultimately, I think at the end of the day that the creation that AI can bring is going to be less meaningful and wholesome, and the creators who create beautiful works are going to stand out more because AI is going to bring so much direct to the marketplace.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Not a terrible ride around the metro interstates. Tapping that brake pedal on I-85 southbound as you head into Midtown. Heads up for a crash in Smyrna, east-west connector eastbound at Cooper Lake Road. Only a left lane open. That's slowing down that ride. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $50 million. Now with bigger jackpots, better odds, and a built-in multiplier. Drawings every Tuesday and Friday. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Red diamonds cost up to $5 million per gram, and yet they are not nearly as valuable as hope. You'll agree with me if you've ever felt deeply hopeless. You know, that state of soul when life itself seems pointless with no prospects of ever getting better. I want you to know there is hope, real hope, and his name is Jesus. He offers full forgiveness, eternal life, heaven as your home, and purpose in every heartbeat. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
Imagine having your guests arrive for the holidays in your cluttered walk-in closet, disorganized pantry, dirt-stained mudroom, box-filled garage, and master closet with outdated wire racks have all been professionally upgraded to maximize their space and potential by the team at Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. artisancustomclosets.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Glad to have you with me. Let me jump to Lewis real quick. Lewis, welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric, I just want to mention Sunday will be the 85th anniversary of World War II at Pearl Harbor. I just think that it's so important to keep that in the front of our mind that it was a surprise attack. They had no idea they were going to be thrust into the World War II. And just to tie something into this with It's a Wonderful Life, that prayer that Jimmy Stewart had at the bar, that he wasn't really a praying man, he wanted to show him the way. And I think that it ties in today. Everybody needs to be shown the way, and that is the way of Christ. And our country has always been somehow tied into with a war or something, but, Jesus, grown men wanted to kill him when he was born, so it's all relevant.
Yeah, and I gotta say, in particular, the World War II anniversary in Pearl Harbor, random things. Whether you're talking about the birth of a baby in Bethlehem, or you're talking about the bombing of Pearl Harbor, it's a recurring thing. I say we should probably sell shirts or coffee cups with this quote: "Events change things." Events continue to change things. When we come back, I want to do a deep dive on something I talked about briefly the other day. The Manhattan Institute has done a deep dive into the Republican coalition that has gotten Donald Trump elected. And you can see how events are going to change things, and in particular, how events could be deeply disruptive to a Republican coalition. I want to dive into this data because it's very fascinating. If you get the show notes today, it is at the top, and it's a very must-read report of a survey of thousands of Trump supporters across the country, who they are, where they come from, how they view the world. And also, there's actually an answer of the day to how do you fight anti-Semitism in the West? That is in the data as well. It's a very fascinating look at the Republican coalition that we will get to. First, I need to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. Around the country, Americans for Prosperity is advocating for common sense conservative solutions. Doesn't matter whether you are, they've got chapters in every state. They advocate for school choice. They advocate for the president's tax reform package. They advocate for small businesses, for freedom for families and individuals around the country. They believe in common sense conservative reforms. If you go to afpvolunteer.com today, afpvolunteer.com, you can sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can engage with them. You can just be the smartest person in your circle of friends, the most informed, know what's going on, know what's in the legislature, but you can also engage and activate to know how to get involved and persuade your neighbor or Congress to do the right thing. You go to afpvolunteer.com and you sign up. I'm on their board of advisors. I go around the country doing events for them. I see their impact all the way down to the local level. You can be a part of changing this country for the better at afpvolunteer.com.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, it's beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Haessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Haessler. Today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee voting today to recommend babies get their first hepatitis B shot at 2 months of age rather than at birth. Vice Chair Dr. Robert Malone voting for the change. He's one of several vaccine skeptics that Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed to this panel.
Policies that the American public have experienced during COVID has severely damaged their confidence in public health and in the vaccine enterprise.
But others, like Dr. Cody Meisner, who voted no, are worried.
We are going to experience increased rates of hepatitis B, and it is not the right thing for us to do.
The American Academy of Pediatrics also opposed to the change, saying the vaccine is safe and effective. Your weather for today: scattered showers throughout the afternoon, cold, highs only in the 40s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Atlanta police are investigating this afternoon a shooting. It appears to be the result of an attempted break-in. This was at a home on Peyton Place in southwest Atlanta. Police say that they arrived, found a man who was in critical condition from a gunshot wound. He has been taken to Grady. Another man at the scene informed officers that his home had been the target of a previous break-in. Police recovered 2 handguns from the individual. They say a crowbar was also found. Police are still investigating the incident and have not yet announced any charges. Netflix buys Warner Brothers Discovery in a cash and stock deal worth nearly $83 billion. It's the largest entertainment industry deal since Disney bought 20th Century Fox for nearly $71 billion back in 2019. The American College of Cardiology wants nutrition labels on the front of food packages. Dr. Kim Williams says a standardized labeling system on the front would highlight key nutrients and things that you should limit, like sodium, cholesterol, saturated fat, and added sugars.
Those are 4 biggest dietary contributors to heart disease, and we could eliminate them, we can reduce them dramatically, and the heart disease would fall along with them.
Now, this proposed front of the package system is intended to supplement, not replace, the existing back of package nutrition facts label that already exist. All right, could a good marriage keep you from putting on weight? Michael George takes a look.
New research by UCLA Health found that people with strong social relationships, especially in good marriages, had enhanced activity in the part of the brain that manages cravings and appetite. As a result, people with more emotional support from others tend to have a lower body mass index and had fewer food addiction behaviors.
Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the green. The Dow's in positive territory. NASDAQ also up, so is the S&P. It's 102.
The holidays are here, friends, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping the buy one, get one deals every week. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. Check out the BOGO deals before you shop, by the way. Expert tip. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. My favorite experience at Publix are the BOGOs. Free item must be of equal or lesser value, of course. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Dylan, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a customer service specialist, I love helping couples find their dream engagement ring. And guess what? I just got engaged, so it was fun to create one myself. First, my fiance tried on a bunch of ring styles and she was drawn to a classic diamond pave setting. Then we looked at different diamond shapes from pear to oval to cushion. She fell in love with the princess cut. At Shane Company, you can create a one-of-a-kind ring and get it in days, not weeks. Because a friend wants you to have a magical holiday proposal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Are you starting to consider a new roof, but not sure if it's needed or what it might cost?
Tim Andrews, if you're going to impersonate Scott Slade, you might want to add a little bottom.
A little bottom to it.
A little bass, yes.
Where I'm working on that.
Well, you don't have to impersonate me. We're both here for FGA Roofing.
I know them.
FGA Roofing offers their free drone assessment. And you'll know if it just needs a fix, a rejuvenation, or a new roof. They'll quote you a price, and if you mention Scott Slade, they'll take $750 off the quote.
What about me?
Mention Tim Andrews, they'll take $750 off the quote.
That's $1,500.
If you mention both of us. And here's the best part. That quote is good for 1 year.
With your good credit, you can take advantage of their 000 offer. That's 0 down payment, 0 payments for 18 months, and 0 interest.
They offer all types of roofs, from architectural or any of the high-end roofs like Slate.
Take the first step now and set up an appointment at FGAroofing.com. That's FGAroofing.com.
Or just Google FGA Roofing.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, and the best part, there is no stress. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, just watched a crash clear from a center lane heading into Midtown, 85 southbound, right at the ramp to 75 north, so a little extra pressure on the ride back at Georgia 400. And still dealing with this crash in Cobb County in Smyrna, east-west connector eastbound at Cooper Lake Road. Only a left lane is open there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with drizzle and light rain showers moving through. High 45, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, drying out, high near 50. A little bit of sunshine for Sunday with a high of 52.
All right, WSB Storm Tracker radar showing cloudy skies and drizzle. 48 degrees in Canton. Brazelton has 47 degrees, and it is cloudy and 47 degrees right now in Johns Creek. We will have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. I hope you're ready for the weekend. I hope you get sunshine this weekend. I am so tired of this drizzly sky we've had for several days here in Middle Georgia. There is data out that I want to discuss right now, and I mentioned this a little bit ago. I mentioned this the other day. Jesse Arm and Matthew Nee at the Manhattan Institute they've done a deep dive survey of the United States, Americans, the GOP coalition, minorities within MAGA. It's actually really, really interesting data, and I touched on it the other day a little bit. National survey conducted by the Manhattan Institute examines today's Republican Party and the coalition assembled to elect Donald Trump, one of the most exhaustive studies of a multi-ethnic working-class GOP. Nearly 3,000 voters, including large oversamples of Black and Hispanic Republicans and or 2024 voters. They were asked about a wide range of policy issues as well as identity politics, populism, conspiracy theories, anti-Semitism, and other forms of racial bias. The findings point to a coalition that is divided into two broad segments. The majority are long-standing Republicans who have backed the party for many years, are consistently conservative on economic, foreign policy, and social issues. They favor lower taxes, a hawkish view on China, remain firmly pro-Israel, and are highly skeptical of the progressive agendas on transgender and DEI issues. A sizable minority happen to be new entrants to the GOP coalition over the past two presidential cycles. They're younger, more racially diverse, and more likely to have voted for Democratic candidates in the recent past. This group diverges sharply from the party's majority. They are likely, often substantially more likely, to hold progressive views across nearly every major policy domain. They are more supportive of left-leaning economic policies, more favorable towards China, more critical of Israel, more liberal on issues ranging from migration to DEI initiatives. A significant share report openly racist or anti-Semitic views and express potential support for political violence. Yet they overwhelmingly identify as Republicans today, and they voted for Donald Trump in 2024. So how does this break down? Well, the survey's first major finding is that the overwhelming majority of the current Republican Party rejects racism, anti-Semitism, and conspiratorial thinking in politics. But a meaningful minority, 17%, would meet our definition of anti-Jewish Republicans. They self-identify as both racist and anti-Semitic and express Holocaust denialism or describe Israel as a colonial state, or do not self-identify that way but hold those positions. Anti-Jewish Republicans are younger, disproportionately male, more likely to be college educated, and significantly more likely to be new entrants to the Republican Party. Now, you got that one tidbit there? They happen to be more likely to be college educated. Male, college educated, younger. What the colleges in the United States have done to the brains of people is something. Now, I want to tie this to a story from yesterday. You're not going to get this anywhere else, but you're going to get it from me. Yesterday, I read from an op-ed by former Senator and University of Florida President Ben Sasse. And he noted that increasingly college students in this country are unable to perform basic math skills, both word problems and basic math skills. So he gave two examples. 7 plus 2 equals 6 plus blank. What is blank? To put it another way, 7 plus 2 equals 6 plus x. What is x? And then he gave a word problem. Sally has 9 pennies and 9 dimes. How many coins does Sally have? Let me explain that word problem to you, if you don't get it, because some of you, your first reaction is 18. And you're right. How many coins does she have? But some of you, your first reaction is 99 cents. She's got 9 pennies and 9 dimes. How many coins does Sally have? The answer is she has 18 coins. She's got 9 pennies and 9 dimes. But some people will conclude this is a problem asking for how much money does she have? 99 cents. The answer is 18 because the problem asks for coins. Now, what does all of this have to do with the Republican Party, new entrants and college educated? Increasingly in this country, we have a breakdown in math skills in the country. And most of you listening right now, I would venture to say over 60% of you listening right now are in my camp and my kids' camp and my wife's camp, that I never have to do this in real life. Why am I doing it? Why do I have to solve this algebraic equation? I'm never going to use algebra in my real life. Why do I have to figure out the Pythagorean theorem? Why do I need to know that you add up the angles of a triangle and it equals 180 degrees? Why do I need to know that? Why is pi r square relevant to me, pi r round? Y'all, I was out of law school when I learned this. I was probably in my 30s when I learned this. Let me let you into a little insight. Do you know the reason you learn math in high school? You know the reason you learn algebra? Because you're right, you're never actually going to use algebraic equations unless you're going to be an engineer or something. I went to law school to avoid math. Do you know why you learn math? You learn math for logic and reason. You know, there's the order of how you do a math equation. Start with the stuff in the parentheses and work your way out. I can't remember the order anymore, but there's a logic. Math is not teaching you algebra so much as math is teaching you logic and reason. And as our math skills have broken down in this country, we have increasingly become more emotional and less reasonable. We've become more illogical. There's a direct rise in conspiratorial thinking in the young and the inability to do math. I don't know that this is my own insight. I haven't read it anywhere else, but having digested all of these different reports, I can tell you there is a direct correlation between young people in this country's inability to do math and their tying to conspiratorial thinking. Why? Because there's a breakdown in logic. When you don't learn math, you're not learning logic and problem solving, and yet in life, you still have to encounter problems and solve them. And if you don't use regular logic that you learn through the learning math and learn the rules of logic, you come up with your own logical things and you get to fantastical thinking like, I feel like, or I think, my truth is. And we see this in a postmodern world, and postmodernity is directly tied to the breakdown in math skills. And it's not a surprise to me that college-educated kids are increasingly holding to fantastical beliefs, because the kids who go to college more and more are getting indoctrinated by professors who take advantage of the lack of reason and the elevation of emotion, and they brainwash kids. In fact, according to the Manhattan Institute, these views are not unique among Republicans. The survey finds slightly higher levels of anti-Jewish sentiment among Democrats, 20%, compared to 17% among Republicans. And despite the internal differences, core Republicans and new entrants remain overwhelmingly favorable towards Donald Trump and Vice President Vance. This is not a coalition in revolt against his leadership. Where the divide becomes electorally significant is in partisan stability. 56% of new entrant Republicans say they would definitely support a Republican in 2026, compared to 70% of core Republicans. The same new entrant bloc is more likely to express tolerance for racist or anti-Semitic speech, more likely to support political violence, more conspiratorial, and on core policy questions considerably more liberal than the party's traditional base. These voters are drawn to Trump, not to the GOP, which means the Republican Party has a solid, cohesive core and a younger, more ideologically unstable outer core. And I do not think it's a coincidence that the younger people are the ones coming from school systems that have failed at math, gone to college, and gotten indoctrinated based on emotion, not logic and reason. We see the emotion spilling out every day. Look at Nikki Haley's son complaining about the standard of living and where he should be and where his friends should be in society. And when you point out that they haven't really had to sacrifice, they get very deeply offended because it's their truth. Their truth is that they have already sacrificed as the 24-year-old coming into the job market. They can't get the job they want with 6 figures right now. Therefore, the world sucks and it's deeply unfair. That's fantastical thinking for a 20-something. Yes, there are problems. I don't mean to minimize them. But at the end of the day, the conclusions of a broken system aren't actually there. It's that everybody else has had hard times too. And we're not going to ever get out of hard times. But they think because the hard times have continually evolved to get better over time. I mean, today you're having 2 or 3 kids. You're not having 15 kids thinking 10 of them are going to die. Healthcare has improved. Now you get rid of vaccines, we may get back there. We'll see. The point, however, is we have more emotional thinking and less logic as our math skills have declined as a society, and that is a product of education. And so it's not a surprise that college-educated young people are the people most likely to dive into conspiracies. It's not the blue-collar plumber who knows how to do the math and the logic of tying cables and wires together to turn your lights on and get certain different sorts of tubes connected together to build you a pipe that flushes your toilet. It's people with too much time on their hands who went to college whose brains got broken. Ironically, the data reveals something else as well. Do you want to know who in the Republican coalition is the least anti-Semitic? You want to know how to fight anti-Semitism? You want to know how to cure anti-Semitism in the GOP? There's one group in the Republican Party, and when you extrapolate out everything else, when you take out all the ancillary data, there's one group in the Republican Party that is the least prone to conspiratorial thinking and the least anti-Semitic. And do you know what that group is? Those who go to church. The more you go to church, this study for the Manhattan Institute shows, the less you are anti-Semitic and the less you believe conspiracy theories. This is, I can't tell you now in the last 20 years how many surveys I have shown or been shown, how many studies I have read. It doesn't matter where they're from, whether they're Harvard or Yale or Oxford, Cambridge, the Manhattan Institute, various other think tanks in Washington, D.C. People who go to church tend to have less fantastical thinking and less anti-Semitism, because their fantastical thinking is in an empty tomb and a virgin birth. And all of that fantastical thinking right there, you can process the rest of the world without the crazy. All the miracles are there. You don't need miracles in the modern world. This is a very fascinating study of the Republican Party, the Republican coalition, and how it is clearly going to break apart when Donald Trump leaves. As I told you guys the other day, that in the United States of America and around the world, regardless of where you are, populist movements are predicated on a populist leader. And when he goes away, it collapses. It may not collapse immediately. It may take a generation away, another breaking up under J.D. Vance or someone like that. But it's going to happen, and this data shows why. You have a deeply unstable Republican coalition. And ironically, what the data also shows is as these younger people who have more left-leaning sensibilities come into the party, they've chased away suburban voters into the hands of the Democratic Party. You could have another realignment once Donald Trump goes away and revert the parties back to the mean, which would be an interesting situation. But also keep in mind that with this coalition, Donald Trump won the popular vote in the United States. He won it. It just happens to be deeply unstable.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. New crash in Marietta. Got this one on the jam cam. It's in the left lane, 75 northbound before North Marietta Parkway, exit 265. Brake lights already filling in behind it back toward Delk Road. A few southbound delays through Kennesaw from Wade Green Road down to I-575. Traffic brought to you by Buckhead Life Restaurant Group. Get a 20% bonus this holiday season with the Ultimate Dining Card from Buckhead Life. Enjoy meals at Chops Lobster Bar, Atlanta Fish Market, Bistro Nico, and more. Buy now at buckheadrestaurants.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the jam cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the strongest in the industry. You can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps. This season at Kroger, make the moments that matter possible with quality that's affordable in every aisle. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, USDA Choice boneless strip steaks in the family pack are only $9.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Whether it's a walk-in closet, master closet, or pantry, unlock the true potential of your storage areas in time for the holidays. Schedule your free design consultation today at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury this holiday season.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been... sorry, be right back. They've been rehearsing... bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
The Breda Wildlife Guarantee keeps you protected from critters at no additional cost. Breda's also proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Greetings and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, let's go to Warren. Welcome to the show, Warren. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
So I'm calling from Palm Beach. We've got a very large Jewish Orthodox synagogue community down here in Palm Beach. We experience anti-Semitism fairly regularly, even in Palm Beach. But I just want to say we appreciate what you were just talking about people who go to church. We find that a lot of our neighbors in the Palm Beach area who go to church, they are not the anti-Semitic people. It's the people who don't go to churches. I'm coming off sounding like a bumbling idiot, and I apologize, but that's what we find. That's what we find down here, and it's.
It's such counterintuitive to a degree because you hear from the left, you go to church, you believe the Jews killed Jesus. No, actually, if you go to church, you learn everybody killed Jesus. It's such an issue. So, okay, Warren, I got to hold you hostage, and I can't keep you long because I got a commercial break coming up. But every time I have been to Palm Beach, the weather's horrible. And it's apparently a beautiful place. Rush used to joke with me when he lived down there that I always pick the worst times of year to come. When do you actually go to Palm Beach that the water's not rough and it's clear and beautiful?
anytime from after hurricane season ends, which is December 1st through May, June, and then it's perfect.
Okay. I'm going to.
And if you come down, I've got a Lang smoker out of Nahunta, Georgia, and I'll make you some of the best kosher barbecue you've ever had.
Oh, deal. Man, thank you for calling. Warren, thank you. Yeah, and I'm going to take you up on that, too. I absolutely am. Oh, man, I got to tell you, Jews and brisket, it's like next level heaven. Okay, now we got to tell you about Hillsdale College. Hillsdale College is an amazing place for a great education. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. And now I'm going to be thinking about Warren's brisket instead. So they got 40 classes to choose from. You can get chemistry, economics, mathematics. You get political science, philosophy, history, literature. If that sounds boring to you, here's the catch. These are with their great faculty and their 30-minute lectures, and there's a topic you know you're interested in, and they probably have it in those 40, and you get smarter about it. They're all entertaining, and you do it at your own pace at no charge. No charge. Go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College today. You get smarter about a topic you're interested in at no charge to you. You learn about Hillsdale College, see what sets them apart. They're almost harder to get in than the Ivy League these days, and they're great. ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Many medical groups are blasting the CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee's decision today to no longer recommend infants get their first hepatitis B shot at birth. The president of the American College of Physicians, Dr. Jason Goldman, saying the panel is making a mistake by recommending the first shot not be given until 2 months of age.
This is a complete disaster for the public health of our children and for what has been an extremely successful vaccination program.
Now, the CDC director still has to sign off on the recommendations. Cloudy with scattered rain showers today. Going to stay cold. Afternoon highs not getting out of the 40s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Netflix making a move to buy Warner Brothers for $72 billion. Elizabeth Schulze says if it goes through, it could reshape how you access a lot of TV shows and movies.
We have seen some other deals before. When you think about a tech company like Amazon, it bought MGM Studios, so that kind of merger of tech and Hollywood, but this takes this to an entirely new level.
And she says it could result in HBO content ending up on Netflix. A new Lending Tree survey today shows Atlanta is among the top 10 cities when it comes to an increase in what we pay for rent. Atlanta ranks number 7 overall, rent averaging over $1,600, which is up more than $600 since 2021. In fact, in the 50 largest cities in the U.S., the rent for a one-bedroom apartment has soared up more than 40% in the last 5 years. And consumers gained a little bit of confidence in the past month. The University of Michigan's early reading for December edges up 2 points from last month. Consumers see modest improvements from November, although many cite persistently high prices among their major concerns. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow currently up 193 points at 48,044. NASDAQ also in positive territory, and the S&P's also in the green. It's 132.
Since 1917, Omaha Steaks has been serving up great steaks for Americans. And over time, they've expanded into seafood, sides, ready-made meals you pop in the oven. At my house, I've been giving them as gifts since the 90s when I was in college and needed to impress people. And now I get them for myself and for friends. I got a big box the other day. I love their New York strips so much. That's typically what I get. My wife gets the caramel apple tartlets. I did decide to try their brisket again because I got it one time and it was fantastic. And I thought, you know what, though? I smoke my own briskets, but Omaha Steaks took care of it for me. And it actually is really good. I served it up on sandwiches. Fantastic stuff. You can get sides, main courses, steaks, seafood. And right now it's all 50% off with the Sizzle All the Way sale. OmahaSteaks.com. Get an extra 35% off using my name, Eric, at checkout, ERICK. See site for details. Minimum order required. OmahaSteaks.com. Use promo code ERICK, ERICK, at checkout and get $35 extra off.
Each day at Ronald McDonald House Atlanta, we see caregivers walk through our doors with tear-stained faces, siblings with sleepy eyes from a long travel day, and the nervous yet brave smile of a child facing circumstances they can't yet understand. While these families are fighting for their children, we're here to help keep them strong. This is not just where they stay, it is where they're held. It is where they carry each other. Support families. Donate today at ronaldmcdonaldhouseatl.org.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Double trouble in Marietta, Sabrina. Got a crash I-75 northbound just before North Marietta Parkway, exit 265. That's in a left lane. And just found a southbound crash also in the left lane, 75 southbound past South Marietta Parkway, exit 263. So really stacking up both ways there. Earlier crash, east-west connector eastbound in Smyrna at Cooper Lake Road. That has cleared. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Cloudy skies with light rain showers and areas of drizzle for today. Staying cold with highs in the mid-40s. Not much of a temperature change for tonight as the rain moves out. Tomorrow drying out, high near 50. A little bit more sunshine for Sunday with highs in the low 50s.
It is 47 degrees right now in Kennesaw, 48 in Covington, and here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. So I normally like to watch CNBC more than the news stuff. It's fascinating. Like I like the business news more than Fox and CNN. So much of the programming at Fox is designed to keep you coming back to see if the existential terror they told you about yesterday has been solved today. And at CNN, it's all. It really is just strikingly, now that Trump is back in office, just so anti-Trump all the time. I've declined more appearances on CNN than not over the last number of months since Trump's been back, in large part because they want me to be the token Republican who comes on and criticizes Trump, and I don't want to be that guy. I'm willing to criticize him, but they make Scott Jennings be the defender and everybody else attacks him, and I got plenty of praise for his positions, and I'm willing to defend him. And inevitably what happens is I get invited to come on a show, and they ask me what my views actually are, and it turns out it's not nearly as critical as they expected it to be, and they cancel the interview. And I don't want to be that guy. And it just I've given up on so much cable news. I actually think we're better off. I did get a very interesting note the other day from a lady because I was saying, it's unplug, turn off social media, stop worrying about it. She's like, isn't it weird for you to be in this position where you're a conservative talk radio show host and you're telling us not to listen? It's like, I didn't say don't listen to me. I will sort through the news for you. In fact, we know from the research on my show that most of the people who listen to my show actually tune in because I'll tell you what the news is, and then you go on about your day, as opposed to keeping you in an existential terror on a daily basis with essentially what amounts to glorified storytelling. Now, all radio is storytelling, and my job is to keep you entertained at the end of the day. But I could not sleep at night if I was weaving these stories together every day into some sort of elaborate conspiracy theory to keep you tuning in the next day for the next round, like what Candace Owens is doing. Candace Owens, years ago, when I was running Red State, so I did not found Red State. A lot of people attribute the founding of Red State to me. It was actually three friends of mine, Josh Trevino, Mike Krabowski, and Ben Dominich, who started Red State. They invited me on like day one. I was a writer, and over time, it turned out not only did I write, but I also did campaign finance law. They needed a lawyer, so they put me in charge, and I wound up leaving my law firm, running Red State. And so I get credit as the founder. I was the first CEO and editor of Red State. Was there for 10 years and decided that I had been there long enough. It had been bought by a competing radio company. I wanted to do more integrating my radio show, couldn't do it because of that, and decided it was time to move on and focus on radio. Make the main thing the main thing. And the main thing by then was radio. And while I was there, I remember I'd go to CPAC, and well-meaning elderly women would come up to me and they say, "Have you heard of that young lady, Candace Owens? Have you heard of that young lady, Candace Owens? You should have Candace Owens right at Red State. You should do an interview with Candace Owens. You should platform Candace Owens. You should have her on your radio show." I got to admit, so she had been on the left. Candace Owens had started on the left and then apparently had some epiphany. She went on the right, and ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know. So I've got an old boss who's gay. Love the dude. Great guy. I had no idea. It's like, clearly I got a broken gaydar. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, "You didn't know?" I was like, "No, it took me a while to figure. I didn't know." Salt of the earth guy, love him dearly, had no idea. He's a great guy. So I may have a broken gaydar, but y'all, I knew Candace Owens was crazy the moment I first laid eyes on her. That chick is nuts, and she always has been. And I may have problems picking up clues on some people, but crazy I know. Do you know how I know crazy? This is going to be very sexist, and I don't mean it to be. But every single one of you listening right now who did the same thing, you know I'm going to tell you the truth. And so I need to bracket this bit of conversation that I don't mean to offend any one of you. I say this lovingly. I really don't mean to offend you. And there's a small segment of this audience who's listening right now who's going to be able to relate to me. And when I say it, they're going to say, uh-huh. None of the rest of you are going to be able to relate, and you're going to think I'm being sexist, and I'm not. The segment of the population that experienced this reality will know immediately I'm telling the truth. Do you know how I knew Candace Owens was nuts from the moment I first heard her? And again, I don't mean to offend anybody. You know how I know? Because I went to law school. Erickson. What does going to law school have to do with knowing when some chick is crazy? If you went to law school, you would understand. In college, you find women who are looking for the MRS degree. In college, you find a lot of crazy neurotics. And Candace Owens, boy, she struck me as she should have gone to law school. Now, listen, that's not sexist. I'm just telling you, every man and woman who went to law school knows exactly what I'm talking about. You all had them in your law school class, and I don't know what it is, but there is something about crazy women going to law school. Not all women who go to law school are crazy, but pretty much every crazy woman goes to law school. Candace Owens struck me as that sort of type. We had those. We had them. I don't want this conversation to go off the rails and get me hate mail from people, but y'all know exactly what I'm talking about if you went to law school. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And Candace Owens, when these people started coming up to me, and this is in the early 2000s and in the mid 2000s, like, "Oh, you should platform Candace Owens. Oh, you should listen to Candace Owens." Like, no. No. There's something wrong with her. But you know what she did, and this is the blight of conservative media. She got attention. It didn't matter how crazy she was, she got attention. And to a degree, those of you who feel discombobulated right now in particularly conservative politics, and you're wondering why you feel discombobulated, the reason is because you got a bunch of websites that wanted to get attention, and they needed crazy to get attention.
When I was at Red State and the editor of Red State, it was more of a group blog. It was a group effort. And while I was the face of the site, there were a lot of us who had been there for a while, and we worked very hard to keep out the crazy. And the result was we did not have the explosive growth of other websites, but we had a lot more influence. We had a lot of influence. I do this podcast in the afternoons after the show is over called The 4 Things You Need to Know This Afternoon. And it's 5 minutes. It's all the news that has happened towards the end of the show. Because, every afternoon is when they break a lot of news, and the show is going off the air at 3 o'clock. I don't have time to get to it. So I do this 5 minutes. Here are these 4 things. You're going to hear about them on the evening news. You better know about them right now. You can go look, 4 things to know this afternoon. That's the podcast. Separate from the radio podcast. If you text Eric to 33777, you can get the link to it. Do you know if it doesn't come out, I get text messages from governors. I'm not making this up. From governors, from senators, from members of Congress, from a couple people at the White House, from several senior ranking people. It's not high listenership. It's growing, but it is deeply influential, the people who listen to it. People in the White House, people in the State Department, people in the Pentagon, people in Congress, people in governors' mansions, prominent state legislators around the country. If it doesn't come out, I get emails, where is it? From prominent people. At Red State, it was the same way. We were the most read website on Capitol Hill, but we weren't big. We didn't get hundreds of thousands of daily readers. We got 30, 40,000, but it was really influential. And that influence can sell. You just have to have the right advertiser. And over time, my bosses got frustrated with me because of it. I was like, you're selling it the wrong way. No, we don't get the most eyeballs. We get the eyeballs and the ears of the people you want. And that's the way you got to sell it. Candace Owens gets clicks, and she was elevated within the conservative movement for clicks. And the thing about the clicks is the people who depend on the clicks, they get captured by their audience. And they begin to tell their audience stories, and the audience has to come back the next day for more of the story. She's an anti-Semite. Was of the left. She's headed back to the left. She's a nut. And now she's peddling the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories about the murder. Charlie Kirk was murdered by a leftist activist who was into furry sex culture and dating a transgender guy. Or I guess a man transitioning to a woman named Tyler Robinson. And Candace Owens has concocted this elaborate story that it was the Jews or Turning Point USA. She knows how to get attention. She knows how to get attention about the French president and his wife, and they're about to sue her into oblivion. But it's not just Candace Owens. It trickles out into the rest of the medium as well. You get Candace Owens and her anti-Semitism. You get Tucker Carlson. He wants his clicks. He wants his traffic. He's got to have it. He no longer has Fox News providing his medical insurance. He doesn't have Fox News paying him a salary. He's got to be as outlandish as possible, and he keeps platforming anti-American people. In fact, he's platforming some friend of Russia again. You get all of these people, they want the clicks, they want the traffic, they get captured by the audience, and they got to keep feeding the audience, feeding the audience, feeding the audience. I never want to do that. I never want to be a part of that. I have influence because I'm not dependent on the click. And this is not to pat myself on the back or anything else. It's just I see where conservative media has headed, and I look at The Blaze and this story of they wanted to believe that the pipe bombs on January 6th were an inside job by the feds. They found a woman who they decided to publicly pin it on. Very, very brave of them to do, to it. Crazy, but brave. They named a woman, they exposed her, they said, this is the woman who planted the pipe bombs. It wasn't her. It was Brian Cole. It was not a white woman, it was a black man. And you know what's happening online today? The spin is, I don't think it's a coincidence. The Blaze named this woman as a suspect, and suddenly the feds have trotted out the real person? It's a distraction. It's an op. That's what you hear from these people. It's an op. Everything is apparently an op, except the op. The fantastical thinking of the conspiracy theorists designed to get attention and traction. And that's what it is. These people are willing to ruin themselves over time to get traffic. And y'all, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell my audience what I think they want to hear to get their attention, to lure them back in. I see this Candace Owens stuff. It's time to move on from Candace Owens. She is who she always has been, a nut job who she would have done great in law school. It's probably time to move on from the Blaze as they go to Groyper and bring in the white nationalists and see the conspiracy theories. There is an unhealthiness within the conservative media movement right now. It's all of these online sites that are trying to compete for Fox's attention. And I want nothing to do with it. I was trading an email with a friend of mine. I turned down a prepper ad. Sports betting and prepper stuff, I don't like to do it. The sports betting stuff, I have turned down now at this point more than $500,000 in advertising because I don't want to do. I don't mind if you bet on sports. Most of my friends do. I just see where this is headed. We're headed to a societal disaster with young men who are getting addicted to sports betting. I want no part of it. And then the prepper stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sell you survival food and a backup battery generator that you can keep in your basement for when China takes over the power grid and we all die. I just find it offensive that people are taking advantage of the fears of particularly senior citizens, and they want you to do that stuff. I'm not going to do it. I see so much of this stuff happening. There is profound brokenness in the world that's spilled out in conservative media, and I just got to tell you, I didn't even mean to go in this direction. I was going to talk about something else. But the Candace Owens stuff, at this point, she's always been nuts. I just feel vindicated now after all of these years of telling people she's not right. Suddenly everybody else is seeing it, and the people who aren't seeing it, who are like doubled down in defense of her, well, they're not right either. We got a lot of crazy in the world, and it's manifested in the form of an algorithm on social media, and we all actually would be better off if we deleted social media and got away from the algorithms. If there's anything about this program that I appreciate that I do, it is not algorithm-driven. Too much of the stuff out there now is, and it is bad for society. Ben Shapiro gave a speech the other day. He was in a forum, and he said the algorithm is killing the country. And he's right. The algorithm is specifically designed to keep you anxious. And there's no reason for anxiety. I read the end of the book. You're on the winning team.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center still jammed up. 75 north through Marietta. Crash had all lanes blocked, back to blocking the left lane. 75 north before North Marietta Parkway. The southbound crash in the same area has cleared. And now into cab trouble in the second left lane. 85 northbound at Pleasantdale Road. That's having a negative impact on 285 eastbound trying to get over to 85 in Dorville. Traffic brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find so many holiday essentials all for under $25. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Clark Howard here, and each year we set a goal to provide gifts for every child in foster care across the state of Georgia, and we can't do it without you. Join us live this Sunday, December 7th, and donate from noon to 3 p.m. in Roswell at the Walmart on Mansell Road for our 35th annual Clark's Christmas Kids. Help make Georgia foster kids' Christmas wishes come true. For more information about how you can donate and for Walmart store locations, visit WSBradio.com.
The holidays are here, friends, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping the buy one, get one deals every week. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. Check out the BOGO deals before you shop, by the way. Expert tip. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. My favorite experience at Publix are the BOGOs. Free item must be of equal or lesser value, of course. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
Findlay Roofing. The Roof guys are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Time to replace your roof? Please think of Findlay first. FindlayRoofing.com.
At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry and dream engagement ring to be nothing short of perfect, no matter the price. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
Will my hair really grow back?
Will you stay with me tonight, Mommy?
By giving today, you can help our kids get the care and treatment they need. Give to Children's for that. Donate today at choa.org/give.
5-star reviews tell the Painting Plus story, but seeing is believing.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. Our work is so exceptional that I'm proud to show you. Just click on recent projects in your area and see the amazing work we've crafted for your neighbors.
Painting Plus. Anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to confess that my child is my child. I must read you the text message I just got from my kid. And I quote, "Nothing makes me pro-eugenics faster than people who can't move quickly in the self-checkout deciding to use self-checkout." Wow, my kid is like her father. The only thing worse is when they try to use coupons. I think when you go to the grocery store, there should be a single lane that you go through for check writers and coupon. Now, it's been a while since I've seen a check writer in there. There are some. But you want to use coupons. I got in there the other day, and I was in the 10-item or less line, and there was a woman in there who probably had at least 20 items. And I'm like, it's no big deal. There's been nobody in the line. And then she pulled out the coupons at the end. And I saw the look of dread on the cashier's face. No. You know, so I'm not a coupon shopper, and I know there are people who are and need to be. And this was an older lady, probably on fixed income, and so I do not falter for the coupons. I just falter for going into the 10 items or less line with 20 items, when in and of itself not a problem. And then she pulls out the stack of coupons at the end. She didn't even put them with the individual items. She waited until the end. Oh, and then the self-checkout. So is this happening in y'all's grocery stores too? You don't need to call it about this. Seriously. I'm just venting here for a moment. That like our grocery store, my beloved Publix, now has self-checkout, and people take like grocery buggies full of stuff. They should limit that to like five items or less. People literally, I don't understand the people who want to go through the self-checkout and scan all their groceries. There is a very nice young man or woman or elderly woman who is in a line that is willing to process your groceries, and I promise you that he or she will do it faster than you. Even if there's someone in the grocery line at that moment in front of you, you're probably still going to get through faster than if you have 100 items piled up in your buggy and you're trying to do it yourself. I think they should prohibit that. It's not death penalty level. Death penalty level is like driving slow in the fast lane. Last night on my way home, there's this toll road, and it becomes a single lane. and I got to the single lane, 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. I was doing more than that. Red Corvette, 63 miles an hour. I tried to pray down hellfire on the person, and it didn't work. Swiss America would like to help you navigate the secret war on cash because it's a thing, you know. In fact, maybe I shouldn't say this in this app, but you know, one of the ways they found that the suspect in D.C. was through his credit card purchases and his purchases. The FBI, they like to monitor your purchases. And the federal government would prefer you to not use cash because it's harder for them to monitor your life if you use cash. And so there are great deterrents in place, and crypto as well. Swiss America has a report about the secret war on cash. You can get a free copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. Mention my name, Eric, 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. It's a very fascinating report. Takes less than 15 minutes to read. Text Eric to 800-289-2646. Messaging data rates may apply.
Where you're going is a given. How you're getting there?
Well, that's the question.
We will start to see some delays if they shut that ramp down on 285 East.
Before you hit the navigation
You're
app.
going to be slowing right around Hudson Bridge Road. Listen to the people you can trust.
And really slow out of Ackworth into Emerson.
Updated traffic as often as you need it every time you listen.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
More experience, more reliable, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-352-9239. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-352-9239. 800-352-9239.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A CDC advisory panel meeting in Atlanta changes course and no longer recommends the hepatitis B vaccine for newborns. It reverses a decades-long federal recommendation.
The president of the American College of Physicians, Dr. Jason Goldman, blasting the decision today.
The evidence is overwhelming. This vaccine has been so successful. That's why we're not seeing as much chronic hepatitis B now as we used to.
He calls this new recommendation a complete disaster for the public health of the nation's children and what he says has been a successful vaccination program. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
47 degrees in Atlanta. Will be dry out for the weekend. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A 25-year-old man is arrested after 2 of his elderly relatives are found dead inside their Coweta County home.
A suspect who remained at the home in the 100 block of Little Road in Sharpsburg is taken into custody. Coweta County deputies responded to the residents after a 911 call. The sheriff's office says it remains an active and ongoing investigation. The GBI has joined the investigation, but so far it's not known what led to the deaths.
WSB Cheryl Castro reporting. Deputies say the suspect, Brandon Jones, had been living with the 2 women. Georgia Senator John Ossoff says he supports an effort by fellow Democrats to force a vote next week on a plan to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies. He says this shouldn't be a partisan issue.
Let's just cut the politics out of it.
Analysts say if the subsidies expire, health care costs will continue to spike for millions of Georgians. Congressional Republicans have yet to unveil their plan to address the issue, which was at the center of the recent government shutdown fight. Trouble at a candy plant in Tennessee.
Several workers were sickened by an undisclosed chemical exposure at an M&M's Mars plant in Cleveland, Tennessee. 6 people were taken to hospitals in nearby Chattanooga. Their illnesses and conditions are unknown. A 7th worker was treated by paramedics at the scene.
Correspondent Jim Krasula reports the company's plant in Cleveland, Tennessee is the world's biggest M&M's factory. New data just released by the National Retail Federation finds headlines on Small Business Saturday. Nearly 63 million Americans shopped in store, a 2.6% increase over 2024. Its projected spending will surpass $1 trillion for the first time ever this Christmas season, reinforcing expectations small businesses will end the year on strong footing. It is 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers with my dad, Mike. And Dad, how do you know you've got the right gift before you give it?
You get it at D. Geller & Son.
That's it?
That's it. We've been helping Atlanta get it right since 1939 with real jewelry experts to walk you through Atlanta's best selection.
Well, it's a no-brainer when you get here, but not everyone knows what to expect when they're shopping for jewelry.
Well, you can't let nerves talk you into getting a blender when she wanted diamonds. D. Geller & Son is all about making it easy. You don't need to dress up. You don't need to see a receptionist. We're just real people.
And if you're wondering what we have
everything. Every style, every budget.
Whether it's silver and diamond stocking stuffers for $95, diamond hoops for $13.95, or one-of-a-kind showstoppers.
For the best selection, best quality, and best value.
Trust D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Georgia Spa Company just did something you don't want to miss. They've extended their Black Friday sale through Sunday. That means the biggest savings of the year, well, they're still happening. If you've been waiting to upgrade your health, your recovery, your downtime, your relaxation, now's your chance. Hot tubs to melt the stress away, swim spas for fitness without the gym, saunas and cold plunges to help you feel better, sleep better, live better. Don't let the extended Black Friday sale at Georgia Spa Company slip past you. Go to georgiaspacompany.com to find the closest location.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Busy out there on the roadways, Bill. New trouble heading into Midtown. Crash 85 south before the ramp to 75 north. 2 left lanes are blocked. You're stacked up leaving Georgia 400. Think about Peachtree or Piedmont to head toward Midtown. Crash cleared 75 north in Marietta past at North Marietta Parkway. And trouble just cleared off to the right into Cobb County. All lanes open. 85 northbound at Pleasantdale Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with drizzle and light rain showers moving through. High 45, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, drying out, high near 50. A little bit of sunshine for Sunday with a high of 52.
Kind of dreary outside this afternoon, but no major showers right now across metro Atlanta. It's 46 in East Point, 43 in Sugar Hill, and 46 in Decatur. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's probably the biggest news of the day, actually, and most of you will probably not even care about it, but I have put it off until now. Probably should have gotten to it sooner. We need to talk about it, though. And ironically, you're about to see an alignment between Donald Trump and Pocahontas, Senator Elizabeth Warren. It is the Netflix deal to buy Warner Brothers. I want to begin on a side note. One of the costs to Americans that we don't really appreciate these days is the subscription services. You got the Netflix, you got the Disney, you got the Prime, you got the Paramount, you got the Peacock, you got the Apple. I mean, you people have massive streaming services. Then you have YouTube TV or Fubo, and people are going bankrupt like $10-15 at a time. They keep raising the prices on all these streaming services. And at some point, it becomes unsustainable. You know, the only thing that Americans really all get together and watch these days together is football. And it's becoming harder and harder because of the greedy jerks of the NFL. They want to take stuff off of TV and they want to put it on streaming, like last night. So, side note, there's a golf club in Atlanta. It's called In Town Golf. I'm a member of. I had to write an email. I was on my way home from a dinner and had an emergency. Actually, had to do some work. So I was like, you know what? I'll go there, sit at the bar, write my email, and was sitting there, and these 5 young guys were sitting at the bar watching the football game, having beers, and they were talking about Erickson and his girlfriend. And I finally leaned over and was like, wait a second. I'm sorry to interrupt. I keep hearing Erickson having a girlfriend, and I thought I was the only Erickson in Atlanta. And I think one of the guys thought I was trying to get him to shut up. I was like, no, I thought it was very funny. They kept talking about Erickson and his crazy girlfriend. I was like, I'm married and she's not crazy. This is wild. Apparently, there is another Erickson in the city of Atlanta, and that person was being talked about at the bar at In Town last night. It was very funny. And so I'm sitting there, I'm writing this, and they've got on the Cowboys game against the Lions, and it's the Amazon. You got to get on Amazon, I guess, to watch that. On Monday, you can get on ESPN. You can go to ESPN2 if you want to watch the Manning cast, or you get the ESPN streaming service. So you got the ESPN service, and you got Hulu there, and they're tied with Disney Plus, and then you've got Netflix, and you've got HBO Max, which is now apparently merging with Netflix, and then you got Paramount, which wanted to merge with HBO Max, and you got Peacock, and you got all these other services that, you know, I've got this idea. What if we could put them all together into one package that you can get on all of your devices? We can call it, I don't know, cable. And we're not going to go bankrupt with all of these different packages. You know, for a long time in the 90s and the 2000s, we could say that, you know, I don't like having 100 channels. I only watch these 15 channels. I don't want to watch 100 channels. What you didn't realize was that you were actually saving money, because if you wanted just that one individual channel, it was more expensive for you, because that one individual channel was run by a consortium that had 10 other channels they gave to the cable package to spread out the cost to make it cheaper for you. Now you're getting your one channel, but it keeps going up. It was $9, and then it was $12. Now it's $15.99. And you can't share your password. They've cracked down on it. And now Netflix wants to buy Warner Brothers and combine the two services together. And you got the left and you got the Trump administration furious with it, screaming antitrust. The problem with the left is that while the leaders of Netflix are on the left and big donors to the Democratic Party, the left understands where this is going, this consolidation. They don't like it. They say it's antitrust. They say it's going to be very uncompetitive. Yep, you're going to have Netflix, giant Netflix, against the very tiny mom and pop shops that you know as Disney and Amazon and Apple and Paramount even, which is the small player. I don't like it because we're breaking up society to a degree. We are siloed in our media consumptions. We are siloed in what we watch, where we watch, how we watch. Do we have the same streaming services? You know, there was a time that globally, it might not have been you, but so many people watched Game of Thrones on a Sunday night that you would go to the office on Monday, and the office conversation was dominated by conversations about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones actually is the last television show that most people watch together concurrently. Sunday Night Football is the reigning champion. You go to the office now on Monday, everybody's talking about the Sunday night game, because Sunday Night Football is the most watched television program in streaming program in America, and has been for 10 years. More people watch Sunday Night Football with Chris Collinsworth and the crew than any other program on TV. for actual non-sporting programs. It used to be Game of Thrones, and after that, that's when the rise of the streaming services came, and it's broken up. I love Slow Horses. There's one I'm watching now. It's a spinoff of Slow Horses. It's called Down Cemetery Road. It's a good show. None of you know what I'm talking about because it's on Apple TV. Hardly any of you watch Apple TV. Stranger Things is out on Netflix. Stranger Things is one of the biggest shows on Netflix. You got Bridgerton, Stranger Things, Squid Games. They take on a life of their own, but actually most Americans don't watch it. Don't watch any of them. Don't know anything about Stranger Things. We've fractured and fragmented society in streaming, and now Netflix wants to buy Warner Brothers and consolidate the two of them together, making Netflix an even bigger powerhouse entity. Warner Brothers needs something. I'm assuming they're going to take CNN with it. I don't know what they'll do with CNN. Warner Brothers is thinking of spinning CNN and its news programming off. Warner Brothers, of course, owns CNN. But Netflix wants to consolidate them together. A $72 billion deal, stock and cash. And I'm not sure it's actually a good thing. Warner Brothers continues with plans to split itself into separate companies, one composing studio and streaming assets, the other containing its global cable network operations, such as CNN, TNT, and TBS. It doesn't look like Warner Brothers is interested, or it doesn't look like Netflix is interested in those. I don't see how the deal goes through. Donald Trump hates the leadership at Netflix. They are a bunch of far-left progressives. I think you're going to see this thing drag itself out. And on top of that, movie theaters don't want this to happen. Movie theaters don't want Netflix. Netflix says that it loves movie theaters and it releases movies to movie theaters. If you've paid attention, what Netflix does is it releases movies to movie theaters for about like a day or two and then puts them on Netflix. But here's the other thing. Have you seen the movies on Netflix? You know, I love Apple TV. I think they have great products. Slow Horses is fantastic. Severance, fantastic. Silo, if it's got an S in its name and it's on Apple TV, it's probably a great show. My wife hates Severance. My son and I love it. But even Apple's movies, they're not fantastic. What was the one? The Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, the moon one about the Indians. It needed an editor. It wasn't good. It was a vanity project. The Mark Wahlberg family ones where he's the closeted hit guy, they're funny, but I mean they're not worth the big screen. The Netflix movies are the same way. We're killing off theaters. There's very few things that any of us want to go see. Marvel is past its prime. Disney produces stuff, but when's the last Marvel movie you saw in the theater? I went to see Fantastic Four. It was actually not a bad movie. My kids like Superman a little more, which was Warner Brothers. I didn't particularly like it. It was very comic book. I like the Henry Cavill ones better. But there's not must go to the movies. So you've got Dune is coming out. Dune 3 will be the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated series. That is a great, if you're looking for a great superhero movie, get the Sony Spider-Verse animated ones. They're fantastic. The third one of that is coming out. I can't think of a lot of major movies, though. I can't see how theaters are going to survive the Netflix-Warner Brothers merger. And I can't see that this merger is going to survive. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, Erickson, isn't there raw politics out there? Yeah, look, I get it, but this is actually the biggest news of the day here. This is huge, huge news. It's the lead story right now across the media at CNN, at the Wall Street Journal, at the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times. By the way, the Supreme Court has just agreed to review Donald Trump's order restricting birthright citizenship. That itself is going to be a big deal. But this is a big story because American culture continues to break apart and realign and segment and fragment. You know, look at conservative radio, frankly. We used to all tune into Rush Limbaugh. Wherever you were in the country, if it was the middle of the day, noon to 3 Eastern time, you turned into Rush Limbaugh. He's no longer there. And now you've got me, you got Todd Starnes, you got Dana Lash, you got Clay and Buck. You've got Vince Congolese, who replaced Dan Bongino. You've got, and it depends on which radio network you're listening to, and everything gets fragmented. Conservative radio is fragmented. The podcast world is fragmented. You don't just have Fox News on the right now. You've got OAN. You've got Newsmax. The left, of course, is CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS. We, less and less as a society, have common cultural concepts and common cultural institutions. And part of that is because there was a time in this country, if we're really honest about it, there was a time in this country where Hollywood and cultural institutions made things to appeal to Americans, and over time increasingly made things to appeal to progressive Americans at the exclusion of everyone else. Look at late night comedy shows. You used to have The Late Show with David Letterman. You had The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson or Jay Leno, and they played to the crowd. Now, Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel in particular, Jimmy Fallon less so, but Stephen Colbert has on politicians, has on Democratic politicians. He had on Prince Harry last night, who's not a funny person. He had on AOC the other day. He's had on Elizabeth Warren. He has on progressives. They have written off half of America. As the country has fractured, media institutions have played to that fracturing and inevitably have gone with their biases to the left, which has driven more and more conservatives away from mainstream media. And the problem is so much of the conservative media establishment out there produces garbage stuff. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insulting, and this is going to sound very insulting, but there are a number of actors who have come out as conservatives who now complain that they can't get jobs because they're conservative. And honestly, a lot of us are just not very good at their jobs. And I don't mean to be insulting, but it's the truth. And no one wants to tell them the truth. There are some who have been shunned because they're conservative. Yes, there are some. But a lot of it is that they get these dreadful roles on the right, and it's just dreck. It's like so many of the Christian movies you go to the theater to see. God's Not Dead, episode 2588. I'm ready to move on. I get it. He's not dead. Let's move on to something else. What about Jesus? Tell me the story of Paul. And then you got the cultural institutions where you used to tell these stories. Remember when DreamWorks, its first animated series was Prince of Egypt, one of the best animated movies ever made, and it was phenomenal about the life of Moses. You fast forward to the Russell Crowe Noah movie that was put out by, what was it, Darren Aronofsky or so. It was garbage. It was garbage. The rock monsters and all, that was horrible. Hollywood lost its ability to tell a relatable story. It can only tell woke, and woke is broke. And conservatives have just, they're not creative enough to put out good stuff. And now you got this fracturing of society around streaming institutions. Is it any wonder more people are turning to football, where they've gotten the politics out of it and people just want to watch sports, and now they can't because of the fracturing? This isn't good for society. We need to go back to cable.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Travel advisory into Midtown. Crash I-85 southbound before you get to 17th Street. 2 left lanes are blocked. Those delays are spilling back onto 400 southbound coming out of Buckhead. Beaver Spring Connector is ruined as an alternate. That means thinking about Peachtree or Piedmont to head into town. Earlier crash 85 northbound at Pleasantdale Road is cleared. Traffic brought to you by Indeed.com. Ready to find the right candidates for your job posting? Indeed sponsored job helps connect you with the talent that actually matches the work you're looking for. Start at Indeed.com/credit. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When we came up with the idea for Clark's Christmas Kids 35 years ago, I told myself we were going to help every foster child across the state. But we need your help. To find out how you can make a child's Christmas wishes come true, visit WSBRadio.com.
A special thanks to our friends at Scana Energy, Rocco's European Garage, and Finlay Roofing for their continued support of Clark's Christmas Kids.
2 homes, same block, one sold for way more because they used Orchard. Move first, skip the stress, and sell for top dollar. Don't wait. Get your free home valuation now at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
You're building a deck or adding a room, that's wonderful. But if you skip hiring an architect trying to save money, well, the builder's going to need drawings anyway. They're going to hire an architect regardless and mark up their fees to you. That's why it's smarter to start your project at Sketchhouse. Hi, I'm Richard Taylor, architect at Sketchhouse. At Sketchhouse, we'll make sure your plans are code and zoning compliant, they'll be creative, and they will look great. You're going to save thousands of dollars with Sketchhouse Architects. We're going to make this easy for you. Go to sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, H-A-U-S, sketchhouse.com.
Cooler temperatures mean planting time. Ashley Frasca for NG Turf, Atlanta's premium sod supplier. NG Turf offering Rebel Supreme Fescue and now Sunbelt and Southern Blue. Bluegrass blends that are cold hardy and keep their deep green color year round. Shop at ngturf.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
So you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that works, but you want the best. It's Mark Aram here. Modern technology, top-rated physicians. You want something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results they produce. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, address them all with a simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough advanced FUE treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. Call 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And don't forget to ask about that Advanced Hair Guarantee, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. It is Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. John, you're going to be the next caller. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Good, Eric. How you doing today?
Good.
Weekend is almost here.
Thank goodness.
Hey, I've got a son that's looking to contract with the Army this spring. When I look at what's going on with the bombing of this boat, where an admiral who decided to finish the boat off had to get the permission of a bloody attorney to do that? I mean, is that really what our military has come to? That is the attorneys making the decisions for the generals on what we can do?
Well, okay. So yes and no. In situations like this, because there is not an authorization for the use of force from Congress, Each individual action has to be vetted to make sure it's concurrent to the president's powers as commander-in-chief without an authorization for force. If Congress authorizes the use of force in this situation, that element goes away. But because Congress hasn't authorized force, the actions that are taken have to be incumbent on the President of the United States in defense of the country, because presidents aren't allowed to start war. So that's actually what's going on here, just to clarify for you.
And would that apply same to SEAL Team 6 when they take any action? Does that have to be approved by an attorney?
Again, it depends on if there's an authorization for the use of force. So when SEAL Team 6 went in to sabotage Iranian assets, a JAG lawyer vetted to say that, yes, in fact, this is something that the SEALs can do pursuant to the president's power as commander-in-chief without an authorization for use of force. When the SEALs went in to kill Osama bin Laden, they didn't have to have the JAG officers because Congress had given an authorization for the use of force. So, yeah, it's a more complicated issue in that if Congress authorizes the use of force, all you got to do is determine these operations are consistent with that authorization. In this particular case, Congress hasn't given an authorization, so the lawyers have to be more involved to make sure what's being done isn't act of war stuff, but defense of country stuff, which the president can do without an act of war declaration. All right, let me tell you about Vision Computers, visioncomputers.com and 404-COMPUTE. That's how you get in touch with them. Anybody nationwide, whether you're in Alaska or all the way down in Palm Beach, Florida, where weather is apparently pleasant right now. I need to go visit. You call them at 404-COMPUTE. They can build you a computer. They can upgrade your computer, and they can do managed IT. Let me talk about managed IT. Your company probably needs an IT support staff, and you probably can't afford to have that whole staff in-house, so you contract out. More and more managed IT services are relying on AI, and so your employees have to do chatbots and stuff if there's something wrong. Not with Vision Computers. You call them at 404-COMPUTE, you sign up. Your employees will get a phone number they can call, and in 15 seconds or less, they get a live human being on the phone to help them, and it makes your employees more productive. They can be really good at their jobs and let Vision Computers be good at the computers, and saves you money. It keeps you productive. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's just in. The draw set for the 2026 World Cup. The U.S. will start play against Paraguay in Inglewood, California, June 12th. Australia is also in the same group with the United States. We'll find out tomorrow which teams will be coming to Atlanta for matches in group play. The World Cup begins in June. 8 matches will be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. A CDC advisory committee meeting in Atlanta votes to stop recommending the hepatitis B vaccine for newborns. The decision reverses a public health policy dating back more than 30 years. For decades, the government has advised all babies be vaccinated against the liver infection right after birth. Dr. Jason Goldman, president of the American College of Physicians, says the panel is making a mistake.
This is a complete disaster for the public health of our children and for what has been an extremely successful vaccination program.
Mothers who test positive for hepatitis B are still recommended to have their infants vaccinated. A 25-year-old man faces murder charges after 2 of his elderly relatives are found dead inside their Coweta County home on Little Road. Deputies say Brandon Jones had been living with the 2 women. Deputies say the victims died from injuries consistent with a physical assault. The Georgia Bulldogs aren't the only team in the area playing for a conference championship this weekend. Kennesaw State takes on Jacksonville State in Alabama tonight in the Conference USA Championship game. It is now 2:32. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here. My friends at Rocco's European Garage once again stepping up for the 35th annual Clark's Christmas Kids, helping make sure every child in Georgia's foster care system wakes up with presents this Christmas. Thank you to the team at Rocco's European Garage.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we don't sacrifice customer service for technology. That's why we offer all the modern banking tools you expect with the friendly, caring service you deserve. This is Andy Harris, and at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you really can have both. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
It's the holiday season at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and we're bringing you 3 weeks of wonder. Special merchandise, special events, and very special savings all December long. This week, it's Christmas in color, with 15% off all precious gemstones, rich green emeralds, deep red rubies, and brilliant sapphires in all shapes and colors. Choose from an amazing selection of earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and rings, all at 15% off now through Sunday. Come shop with us in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Hey, it's Smilin' Mark McKay, and I'm so excited to be part of the 35th year of Clark's Christmas Kids. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk, and Scana Energy invite you to join us in making sure every child in Georgia gets a visit from Santa. This year, we encourage you to join Scana Energy employees by shopping on-site at any of the 3 Walmart locations for those who would like to shop in person, or shop virtually. Either way, you'll be able to see the child that you're shopping for and what that child really wants from Santa. Join Clark, WSB Radio, and Scana Energy so that every child receives a gift this holiday. We really need you to help provide gifts for the thousands of kids in the Georgia foster care system. A special thanks to Scana Energy for years of partnership with Clark's Christmas Kids. For the 3 Walmart locations, dates, and times, or to shop online, visit clarkschristmaskids.com. That's clarkschristmaskids.com.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Rufus. What the? Dave Baker here. Findlay Roofing, the Roof guys, and Rufus are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate $100 from every roof replacement between now and December 14th. They're committed to donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Santa is so proud, and Rufus is proud too. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Big mess in Marietta, Bill. All lanes shut down right now to get this jackknife truck hauling a camper off to the shoulder. 75 southbound and Windy Hill Road, exit 260, stacked up there through Marietta. Use Highway 41. Crash 85 southbound into Midtown before 17th Street. That is now blocking the HOV lane. Travel advisory into Swanee. Crash in 2 left center lanes. 85 northbound Highway 317. Use Satellite Boulevard. And traffic troopers tell me you've installed Big Rig in Stockbridge. 75 south at Hudson Bridge Road, blocking a center lane. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Scattered rain showers and drizzly for today, staying cold with a high of 45. Some areas of drizzle for tonight, lows settling to the low 40s.
48 now in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I want to go take Christopher's phone call, calling from Jacksonville, Florida. By the way, those of you listening on WOKV, I'm going to be down there this Wednesday. We've got a great event. In Ponte Vedra? It is, hang on, in fact, you can get tickets on sale there. Yes, the Salute America. It's going to be December 10th. Go to WOKV.com. You got to have a ticket to get in. It's going to be a great event. And then I'm doing my own version of Bourbon and Butts for their station. They did a hospital fundraiser this summer, so I've got a bourbon event down there on Thursday night. So I will be in Jacksonville at WOKV Wednesday and Thursday. But if you're in the Jacksonville area, WOKV.com, tickets are still available for this event on Wednesday night. So, Christopher in Jacksonville, Florida, welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. Just wanted to tie a couple of thoughts together. And by the way, thanks for coming to Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra. You had made the comment earlier, we're on the winning team, and you're talking about the Warner Brothers deal. I want to tie through a couple of comments here, thoughts. First of all, I think where we need to be is we have to stop letting the liberal media and the politicians define where we're at in the economy. I'm here to testify that the economy is strong. I was just with a lot of corporate leaders earlier this week. comparing notes. We're all got strong businesses. The economy's going well. Everybody's having a hard time hiring people. Product is in ample supply. Stock market is at a record high. People's 401ks are up. Bonuses are strong. This is a solid economy. And I think where we need to focus is that, hey, we have a plan for growing the economy, which rises everybody's income level from the bottom all the way through the middle and the top. And I think what's important about the Warner Brothers deal is I think there's still a possibility here that Paramount could acquire Warner Brothers. This deal's not a done deal. There's still an opportunity for Paramount to take an offer via tender offer method directly to the Warner Discovery shareholders. Paramount's got tremendous resources. They've got the Ellison family and others behind them. And I think that what's important, and I mean, we need to see this manifest itself, though, is that Ellison family has said they want to move CBS to the center. And if they were successful in doing that, that would give one mainstream media that actually would be a more centrist point of view. Which
and you know, Christopher,
so you want to see that, and then that can help communicate that our economy's strong.
Yes. Well, okay. Yes. And you know, they want to take over CNN, which is one of the reasons they wanted Warner. But I gotta say though, Christopher, I would dispute that the economy is as strong as you say it is. And whether you think it is or not, anecdotes, not data. And the data from the University of Michigan Consumer Survey of Consumer Satisfaction is people don't think the economy is good. You're in the minority. And again, as I always would tell candidates who run for office, know when you're in the minority, even when you think you're right. You think you're right, but you need to recognize you're in the minority. And you can say it's a messaging problem for the GOP, but it actually is a cost of living problem still. Because inflation is still high. The new number 2.8, they want to get it to 2. It's trending in the right direction, but it's still high. Wages are now receding in the sense that inflation is now again passing wages. So wage growth is less than inflation, which means every dollar you take home can buy you less. Gas prices are down, which is very good. That's good for the economy, but people aren't feeling it yet. And that's not a messaging problem for the GOP. It is a translation into the economy. You know, for example, I saw Ben Domenech, a buddy of mine. He's the editor of The Spectator, and it was pointing out that the Trump administration probably needs to point out that the Biden team did such a number on the economy. It's taken a while to fix. We're headed in the right direction, taking a while to fix. DeSantis, in fact, was on Fox and Friends this morning talking about this very issue.
What is the message? Because the inflation is still high. So far, groceries are a little bit up, even though they're up only 2%. Inflation goes down. What would, if I said right now, give a speech to voters who are on the fence about who they should vote for? What should be the bullet points?
I think it's economy, immigration. Like, we don't talk about immigration as much as we were maybe when Biden was letting it in. The border is secure. We've stopped the influx. He's now working on a moratorium of new people coming in, particularly from some of these countries where the people are hostile. That's a huge victory for people. They need to be talking about that and go even bolder on that. I just think you got to be bold. I think you got to be strong. And I think one of the frustrations with the Congress is, what have they done since August till now? They really haven't done anything, right? And it's like, if I were, I'd be like every day coming out with something new and make the Democrats go on the record, show the contrast. Think about why we've been able to win big in Florida is because there's a very sharp contrast to what we're doing and what what the liberal Democrats stand for. Parents' rights, illegal immigration, tax cut, anything you can think of. Most voters knew we were on their side, and I think you got to really make that sharp. But I would tell you, the Democrats, they caused a lot of this with the inflation, and now they're acting like it was like they had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you do good on the couch. You got to come in more often. We're sorry it's so cold.
Thank you so much, Governor.
Look, he's right. There are things for the president to highlight. Unfortunately, one of the things the president has chosen to highlight are tiny cars. Tiny cars are a great idea that the president has chosen to highlight. Tiny cars are cheap, very small cars. The Koreans and the Japanese have a fascination with them, and the president is allowing the supply chain to be built in this country. And I think it's a great thing. I think, however, that the president has a conflicting message with a lot of people as well. And that is that the president of the United States wants large families. And large families cannot fit in tiny cars. Large families need large cars. The environmentalists, and by the way, I want you to know, I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's true that environmentalists believe humanity is bad for the planet. You hear this all the time, and that large families are bad for the planet. So one of the things that environmentalists have done over time is they have sought to disincentivize large families. We're having conversations today about how a family cannot survive on one income households anymore. Both parents have to work. Some people don't want that. The sacrifices you have to make. Regardless of your position on that, you do need to understand that this has been part of an environmentalist regulatory push to drive up the cost on families. The Democrats themselves, they claim, they talk a very good game. They say that the Republicans are the party of the rich and they're the ones funded by the billionaires. They say that they're the party of the working class and families, and they're the ones putting in place the policies to be punitive towards large families. They don't like large families. They view them as a strain on the environment and resources. That's why they push abortion so much. But Republicans can't counter with saying we're going to make cheap, tiny cars. The president's tariffs have had a direct impact on the cost of vehicles in this country. It's one reason he's pushing tiny cars. The president's policies have driven up the cost of vehicles in this country, but the original driver of the cost of vehicles in this country was the regulatory structure put in by the left to drive up the cost of cars and other things to disincentivize you from having large families. I go to church with several families that have 15-passenger vans because they not only have large families, they've adopted a lot. And God bless them for what they have done. It's a good thing. They have taken children out of foster homes and provided real homes for them. They have their own families. You see large families in this country these days, you know they're Christians and they're treated as pariahs. I have a friend who has 12 kids or more, devoutly Catholic, was deeply offended by the last pope talking about large families and the strain on the environment. To the Republicans, I would tell you, if you want people to have large families, and by the way, you need people to have large families, and there is a divide in this country, blue states versus red states. You're more likely to find large families in red states than blue states. You're more likely to find single people and married couples with no kids in blue states. They're not procreating. At some point, the red states are going to breed them out of existence. It's just true. Demographically, it's true. But you got to lower costs on those families. You want to have a stable family. This is not meant to offend anyone in your life choices. It's not. You just know the data is true. You just don't like to hear it. The most stable family in America is the two-parent heterosexual household where one parent tends to the kids. That tends to be the mom. Doesn't have to be. Just one parent tends to the kids, one parent works. Those are the families that also struggle the most these days because of the cost of living in the country. And offering tiny cars is no solution when the big cars are priced out of their range because the big cars are required to have safety features. The fuel efficiency standards make them harder to come by. The tariffs drive up the cost. You got to lower the cost for those large families you want to have. Tariffs play a role on that, but it's not just tariffs. There's a regulation structure that drives up the cost on families. And then there's the schooling cost. A large family's got to homeschool kids or send them to a private school if they want them to get a good education because so many of the public schools suck. Public schools around the country are terrible. In red states, they tend to be better. In states where there's an accountability structure based on standardized testing, those schools tend to do better than in the blue states where the teachers' unions have shut down the standardized test. That's why red states have more families, because you as a family can live better in a red state and know your kid can get a good education in a public school, for the most part, except in the urban enclaves. In the urban enclaves, the left is so thoroughly taken over them, even in the red states, your kid's more likely to learn the colors of the rainbow and the gender unicorn than they are mathematics. We, for a long time, didn't have to take seriously reproductive rates in this country because so many people were having kids. But as our nation is reduced in population, Americans either have to have more kids or we got to have more immigrants to keep the country's lights on. It's the choice of the citizenry. And in blue states, they've made a choice to decline, and the red states haven't. Part of that is cost of living. The cost of living matters greatly. And part of the cost of living isn't just groceries or gas. It's the cost of houses. It's the cost of cars. It's the cost of education. It's those big ticket items that improve the health of a family. And right now, families are struggling. And so, Christopher, I don't mean to be combative with you. I really don't. I understand you've been surrounded by CEOs and everybody's saying business is good, but the data for most Americans out there doesn't show they feel it. They don't feel like it's good. They feel like they're falling further behind. And perception becomes reality with voters, and they will vote out the GOP and put back in place the Democrats if the Republicans can't get a handle on this issue. It was always a mistake, I think, for the president to come in and claim that he would immediately fix Biden's problems. And I think it would behoove the president to come out and say, look, y'all, Biden broke this thing so bad, we've done our best, and we're going to keep doing our best, but you got to give us more time. That's how bad it is. The U.S. Trade Representative did an interview with Politico and said, well, behind the scenes, members of Congress, left and right, are begging for the tariffs to be put in statutory form because the tariffs are so awesome. He refuses to name them. I can tell you, I talked to a lot of members of Congress, particularly on the Republican side, and not only do they not like tariffs, they get phone calls from constituents every day complaining about the tariffs. I don't know who this guy claims he's talking to. I don't really believe that he's talking to anybody. The best thing that could happen to the GOP right now is for the Supreme Court to save the Republicans from themselves and get rid of the tariffs, and that would at least be a start in the ongoing economic recovery. But they got to do more, and hiding behind tiny cars as a solution is not the way to move forward.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
250 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Heads up in Marietta. Temporary red alert. All lanes shut down right now. 75 southbound before Highway 5 exit 267 for pothole repair. Really slow in the ride, though. Back up into Kennesaw and 75 and 575. You can use Highway 41. Travel advisory into Midtown. Crash back into left lanes. 85 south before 17th Street. Use Peachtree or Piedmont. And the crash 85 north in Swanee at Highway 317 is cleared. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates, personal injury law firm. If you've been in a serious car crash, don't let the insurance companies rip you off. Call John Foy & Associates and get the real help you need and deserve. Get real. Get John Foy, the strong arm, today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Monday at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, we'll help you plan with our exclusive 5-day forecast for the work and school week ahead. Plus how Clark Howard says some restaurants are trying to get you and me to come back on WSB.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. Celebrate the moments that move you with a brand new Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is on now at Butler Lexus South Atlanta. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been... sorry, be right back. They've been rehearsing... bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. The 4 Things You Need to Know podcast, giving you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, or by texting Eric to 33777.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I am working on, during commercial breaks at the end of the show, I get in and what are the headlines that I need to make sure you guys know before you get home with the 4 Things to Know podcast. You can text Eric to 33777 and subscribe to that standalone 5-minute podcast. I will tell you out of the gate, the Supreme Court has decided to review Donald Trump's birthright citizenship order. If you will recall, the president released an executive order essentially saying that you have to be born in this country of American citizens to be an American citizen, which displaces over 100 years of understanding of the law, going back to the Wong Kim Ark case. There are some people who are self-described experts on that case who insist that we have been misreading it for 100 years. That case essentially said a kid born in the United States to 2 immigrants was an American citizen, but people who disagree with the current interpretation that if you're born in this country, you're automatically a citizen, say the nuance is that those 2 people were lawfully allowed to be in the country, so therefore a child of illegal immigrants is not. Now, you're thinking, didn't they already decide this case? No, the case was argued before the court, but they focused on the issue of nationwide injunctions. They did not focus actually on the citizenship issue. I will say that one of the loudest voices in that argument about birthright citizenship and not changing it was Clarence Thomas, who did not seem himself open to the idea that we should go back and revisit the long-held view that people born in this country are automatically citizens. So when you got Clarence Thomas expressing skepticism there, the court has decided that they're going to take this up. It takes 4 members of the court to discuss it. So this is, I think the Supreme Court wants to provide clarity in this issue. It's going to be very, very interesting to actually hear the argument. So now, when will the case be heard? That's one of the issues. The Supreme Court says it's going to take it. They're going to take the appeal. The court will actually focus on that part of the question, and it will probably hear it later this year, later this court term. So sometime next year, they're going to hear the case. It's going to be fascinating to see what they do on this. I'm actually looking forward to this case. I think it's going to be fascinating. And I think they're probably going to say that if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen, and there are going to be a lot of people who are in for a rude awakening who have just convinced themselves that we've been getting it wrong for the last 100 years. And they'll still maintain the court got it wrong and that they were always right. But what they think doesn't matter. It's what the Supreme Court thinks is what matters. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Y'all, my friends at Old Glory Bank made a big announcement this morning. They're going to be traded on the NASDAQ, a publicly traded company. They're going public, and I'm delighted for them. I just, seeing good people do well matters to me, and I think they're good people. Mike Ring, the CEO, is a great guy, just salt of the earth guy. My buddy Bill Shine, who used to be at Fox News, helped him get started. He's a great guy. Larry Elder, Ben Carson, Mary Fallon, the former governor of Oklahoma, John Rich, all these people came up with the idea of Old Glory Bank because they wanted a bank where conservatives could do business with people who share their values. And they started Old Glory Bank. And there were a couple of competing conservative groups out there trying to start a bank. Old Glory did it right. They bought a bank out of Oklahoma City. They expanded its charter nationwide, allowing you to do business. And I was an original customer of theirs. I signed up online myself, didn't know the actual people there at the time. I've got to know them. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. You can get an account with them as well. One of the fastest growing banks in the country. They're by conservatives for now conservatives and everybody who believes in freedom. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Sign up today. OldGloryBank.com/ERICK. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. OldGloryBank.com.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
So it's been a fact of life that power bills have been going up, and away for any of a number of reasons. But now new technologies are helping you and me as a consumer or a business owner fight back. And one of the greatest things you can do is look at the new battery technologies that allow you automatically to store power at your home or at your business overnight when power rates are extra cheap. And then you use that battery power during the day when power rates are really expensive. It also provides you temporary backup for power when there's a power outage. Instead of having to use a backup generator, you use batteries to do it. Many different types available, and they're getting cheaper every month. I'm Clark Howard.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A CDC advisory panel meeting in Atlanta votes to change the recommendation for the hepatitis B vaccine. It now recommends babies get this shot at 2 months rather than at birth. Some medical experts are not happy with the decision.
Vice Chair of the committee, Dr. Robert Malone, voting for the change. He's one of several vaccine skeptics that Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed to the panel.
Policies that the American public have experienced during COVID has severely damaged their confidence in public health and the vaccine enterprise.
What does that have to do with hepatitis B vaccination? Absolutely nothing.
That's Dr. Jason Goldman, president of the American College of Physicians. He calls the move today, quote, a complete disaster for the public health of our children. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
And the director of the CDC still has to sign off on the change, but that is expected.